Then you just press play.
Good afternoon to our culture agencies. Are these all culture agencies? Yes. We don't have you moved the AMLAC and the NCIP, right? We don't have them today. Could we request the Secretariat to call into the record all those present here today? We don't patients since just go straight to your budget, and from your NEP presentation, no, from your submission to DBM and the NEP that they approved compared to your previous year's budget. And I need to know your unobligated to date of 2015. So unobligated 2015, unobligated 2016 for continuing 2017, a comparison of your submission and the NEP approved. Direct to the point. And any new programs that I need to be aware of apart from what I already know that you're doing. Thank you. We start, just read into the record, everyone, please, and then we start with the NHEP. Thank you.
Good afternoon. The committee would like to acknowledge the presence of the following guests. Mr. Raul Sunico, President of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Mr. Felipe De Leon, Chairman of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. Ms. Maria Serena Jocno, Chairperson of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. Director Yolanda Jacinto of the National Library of the Philippines. Jeremy Burns, National Museum. Deputy Executive Director Jocelyn Reyes of the National Archives of the Philippines, and Commissioner Purisima de Lima of the Commission on the Filipino Language. Thank you.
Thank you. We start with the NHEP. Chair Jocno, are you ready? Thank you.
Thank you, Honor.
So that we clarify, you are all not new appointees. Are your positions term, meaning ending at a certain date? Just so that I understand and I know, unless there's a new appointee so that I get to know you. Yes. We start with NHEP first. Term.
January 2018.
Okay. NTCA, Chair June. Okay, 2016. Mr. Sunico.
Well, actually, our term is finished. We were
Hold
supposed
over.
we tendered our courtesy resignations to
Okay.
President Duterte.
So-
So, we're still awaiting his
So this is a
action.
budget which somebody else could implement?
Yes.
Okay, but you prepared it? Okay. And National Library po?
Waiting for the new director.
Ay, namatay
I'm the
po si
assistant.
ano, no?
Yes, opo, namatay po last year.
Namatay last year?
Ah.
Padala ba tayo nila? Last year? O siyang kaharap ko last year, no?
Opo, siya.
Siya pang kaharap ko last year. Kayo po ang deputy?
Opo, ako po.
And your career? So why could you're not appointed? You're also
I am
retiring.
retiring.
Sige po, buti pa kayo. Sige. Commissioner De Lima,
February 2020 po.
term po ito.
Opo, fixed term. Fixed
Commission
term.
on Philippine. Wait, hindi ba si ano ito? Si
Rio Alma.
yes.
Chairman
But he has
Almario po.
something today, I think.
Nasa Jakarta.
Yes. Oo. No, ang term ni
Pareho po.
2020.
Lahat ng full-time commissioners,
okay.
2020.
Sige, ang archives, may sakit si Ino, no?
Yes, yes,
You're the
madam.
deputy of Ino.
I'm only the appointed of
Just sa
OIC.
archives, so that I remember. Make sure, please, that we don't fund for capital outlay the building in Intramuros, because I believe that was disapproved for some reason, because the area is not suitable for archives, and there was a recommendation to go to UP, Diliman, right? Because in previous GAAs, there was a budgetary allocation for hundreds of millions, if I'm not mistaken. How much was that? 800 million?
900.
900, sayang yon, when that could go elsewhere. So, is it in your resubmission in the NEP of 2017? Wala
No,
na?
It's not included.
Wala na?
Wala na po.
Tinanggal na?
Yes.
You sure, ha? Let's check that, Yoli. Kasi, I don't know, baka oversight ang hinayaan natin when there was a question about, it was a question between archives and DOF?
And DOT.
DOE?
DOT.
DOT. I know that
Intramuros
there was an issue.
Administration.
And the issue was also scientific in terms of the the archives being by the river. I'm not sure. I was just mentioned about that. Yeah. Hi, Chair Dino, FDCP. You're new, no? Oo, sige. Thank you. Okay. Yun lang. We start with the NHCP, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, this is our budget. Next slide, please. Our budget for 2017, total of 644 plus million, of which 481 M is our capital outlay. If you compare that with last year, next slide, please, we have a decrease of 290 million, 656. The bulk of it is really our capital outlay. And do you want an explanation?
Not in detail. I just want to, hindi naman recurring ang capital outlay because that
That's
goes
it.
to
But the bulk
the
kasi po of
rehabilitation.
last year was for Bohol and Cebu,
Bohol and Cebu.
which we are finishing by the
Okay,
end of
that's
this
all I
year.
want to hear.
Yes. So
This
that's
is
fine.
the rehabilitation of the quake-affected
2013
areas.
pa yun po.
Yolanda and Bohol earthquake.
No, just the earthquake. We did not receive funds for Yolanda. But we included that post 2017 budget.
Okay. And you've consumed, you've allotted and used the
Our-
Bohol earthquake funds.
Yes, we have the continuing appropriation is 141 million for Bohol and Cebu. Actually, 141,977,000 million. 141,977,000. Shall I proceed, Your Honor? Okay. So the next slide simply show our locally funded projects, which we have divided into the following categories. So the first one would be the restoration of structures and museum development. These are NHCP museums. The first one is our regular maintenance and structural development of our current museums,
Say NHCP museums
run and owned by us.
and owned by you. The
Yes.
property is owned by
Yes,
you.
yes, Your Honor.
Owned by the government.
Yes.
You run it, you have personnel.
Ah.
So this is rehab.
With exception of, like, we have some, like the one in Barasoin, which is owned by the diocese, but they've given us, like, the Malolos Museum. The second and the third are new museums that we are constructing. The first one is the Presidential Car in Quezon City. The second one is the Ponce Museum,
In your property.
Quezon City property.
In-
We have
yeah,
a MOA with the local government. It's government property local,
These are cars
from
used-
Aguinaldo's time until the
Where was it
present.
stored all the while?
They remember ages ago they used to be in Fort Santiago in those like that. You're younger than me, Your Honor. You don't remember that. The arcade in Fort Santiago. Kami ni June.
Okay.
But then they were rotting away there, rusting. So now we took over and we are paying storage in a warehouse. We've restored them. The third one is the Ponce Museum. That's new, to be constructed on a property that is being donated to us by the Ponce family in Baliwag, the birthplace of Mariano Ponce. So it's not small.
Still be donated.
Yes, they are just subdividing the title.
Can we actually fund something that is not yet owned by
No.
government? Pwede
No,
ba?
no, no. This is for 2017, Your Honor. So,
Hindi pwede. So, this is an allocation for 2017, meaning it will be signed into law by December. But
By then,
if it
tapos
is
na po
not-
yan.
It's in the process.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because it would be co-able.
Yes.
Bawal.
Yes,
kung
Your Honor.
nagbibigay tayo sa hindi pa.
Correct.
I would rather that we're sure it's donated. I'm scared that I would approve something, makamasabit pa ako sa COA, it's not yet.
in 2019. It's
don't-
fine.
I don't want to be a spoiled sport. I just want to be certain.
No, so
Because
do I.
I'm very careful that we don't fund anything private.
Okay.
Otherwise, makokowa ka,
So,
ombudsman tayo niyan.
Why don't we do it
Oo.
like this?
I-
If
I
we
want,
don't get it, within...
By the time that your budget is approved in plenary, if
Yes.
it's not yet donated and all the papers are
Then we
in order,
withdraw it.
we will delete it.
Yes, perfect. I agree completely.
Be a for all agencies.
Okay, that's good. Next one. These are still...
Tama. 10 million eh. Oo.
The next set, Your Honor, would be the curatorial development. The first one is the Customs House, which is owned by the government. That's 10 million.
Is this an existing
Yes,
house?
yes, Your Honor,
Is
in
it a
Iloilo
new-
City.
A new acquisition of
No, it's
the
been,
NHCP?
no, it's owned by the Customs, Bureau of Customs.
Mm.
So it's still owned by the government.
Correct.
Yes.
But what I mean is it already up and people view it? Because I'm not
No,
familiar
no,
with
it's
it.
currently occupied by the Bureau of Customs. There's a small section there on immigration. You know how it is, they build these mezzanine offices. So there are about 3 offices there.
You're acquiring it from customs.
We
Or
are
a MOA.
hoping they, yeah, MOA. We are hoping
Oh, so
they
this is
will.
a new project?
Yes.
It's a customs-owned property that is a heritage building?
Yes, Your
and
Honor.
will be fixed, curated by NHEP?
Yes, Your
Ah,
Honor.
okay.
The second one, we own that already. That was
No, I know the
donated to us by
because
COA.
I think we talked about it here 2-3 years ago. I was
Last
the one
year
who
lang.
brought it to the attention, longer than last year. I brought it to the
it was only
attention of the Senate President then. It was Drilon, and he talked to COA Chair, the lady who retired. Yes. So it went to NHCP.
Yes.
COA donated it? Or
Yes,
is
Your
it still
Honor.
COA?
We have the title.
Okay, so government to government, so that's good.
Good.
It's a very nice building.
The third one, we better delete this as the same as the other one, no?
Why are there two?
No, one is the
curatorial,
structural. We
one's
have
the
to build
structural.
it. This one is
So
a
we delete it
curatorial.
if by,
When do you expect the plenary? By next month or end of this month?
let's give it till October 15.
Yeah,
Because all
good idea.
amendments have to be in by October 15.
So we will write you formally, Your Honor,
Yes.
to
Otherwise,
withdraw
we delete
this.
15 million.
Yes, thank you. And then this Batanes history, this is not going to be run by us. This is the old home economics building in Basco, which we are now restoring. We are now restoring this, so all has to do is the curatorial development.
But it's
Now,
government owned.
Yes, it's owned by the local government, and the good part is that the teachers of Batanes are our partners here. They're the ones who gathered the research.
The oldest Ivatan house,
That's a separate project, but we're doing that now.
is it already under NHEP?
No, Your Honor. What we're simply doing is we are restoring one that was identified by the local.
Because I went to the oldest Ivatan house. At the time I went to,
Is it the one in Sabtang?
no,
Or
not Sabtang.
Where? Basco mismo? Or farther away? Wag naman Itbatan.
No, not
Itbayat.
Itbayat. I wasn't able to cross so it must be in the main island.
Basco.
It's in Basco. Or maybe in Ivana?
Yeah.
Is it in
That's
Ivana?
that's in the Basco area.
In
Yeah.
the same island.
The
Muchabad would know.
the house that we're restoring, that's in our 2016 budget, was identified by them, by the local. Then the next set would be, these are the structures we're asking for that were destroyed by Yolanda or damaged. So you have the buildings there, Kapul Lighthouse, the San Ignacio de Loyola Fortress, also
These
in
are
Kapul,
all,
Samar.
1 to 6, these are all government properties.
Lighthouse is Coast Guard.
Okay. When you
Okay.
say that you have 160 requests, have you already coordinated with a government agency that owns it and they're willing to give it to you or coordinate with you for the restoration?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Then the
And of course, you have already checked the value in terms of heritage, the importance. That's why.
Yes, Your
Because
Honor.
we have limited resources, we want to prioritize those which are important. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Then the second is this is a church and the fortress. It was also affected by the 2013. The third is the Provincial Library of Southern Leyte. The fourth is the Santa Monica Church in Panay, Capiz.
Is the Santa Monica Church in Panay with the big bell?
Is that the one, Ray? Yes.
May pinuntahan ako nung
Yes.
may
Yes,
malaking bell.
yes, ma'am.
Panay.
The fifth is the National High School of Capiz. It's a Gabaldon building. That's the one that's on the terrace. If you see yung
Okay.
terrace.
Gabaldon Building, there's a provision for the
in the
restoration of
Department of Ed.
Gabaldon buildings under the DepEd. Baka
No,
nag-overlap kayo.
we checked with them before we did. We're
Okay.
only doing this one, eh. This is the only one we're doing. And we cleared it with them.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any NHCP structure or museum in the province of Antique? I've seen at all that you own.
No,
Any museum?
No, Your
Any
Honor.
old building?
We
any
are-
old house?
No, we do not own. What we are doing this year, we are going to start the restoration of the church in Aninii.
In Anini, that's
Yes,
beautiful.
yes.
Who
We've
owns
signed
that?
the MOA
Local
with the
gov-
diocese.
Okay, pumayag sila.
Yes, I just came from there more than
Why,
a month
why is
ago.
it not there?
Because that's 2016.
You have the funds in 2016.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
In 2016, we allocated funds for the Aninii Church.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the diocese, but that's private pag diocese, di ba?
It's allowed naman kasi it's a heritage structure we have.
You're sure?
Yes.
Even if it's private?
Yes.
So that's, pag diocese pwede. So we allocated for that for this year.
Yes, Your
and
Honor.
it's ongoing already. Apart from the Aninii Church, what are the other heritage structures?
In Antique
Yes.
that we are doing.
Yes.
Wala na, no? Yes, but Nongon ruins owned by the local government.
Oh, I haven't even seen that.
Yeah.
Ruins of what?
Was it a fortress before? A municipal building, Your Honor. But Nongon. Dito nga kayo. Pwede ba? Put your seat here. So I
If they're willing to donate it, I will put funds for it for...
But you're not restoring it.
Um,
Building as such.
I saw the only, according to the locals, the only remaining bahay na bato, native house in the whole province,
This is
which
not-
is in a state of disrepair because the family, big family, have no resources to maintain
But
it.
it's private. We don't do that.
Correct. I just
don't.
told you that
Yeah.
15
And
minutes
we
ago.
don't.
Correct, that's
We
right.
don't.
If they're willing to donate it, I will fund it so that we retain, maybe you can send someone to also talk to the family. Their far relatives, Helia Azurin, I saw it a few years ago, sayang, maganda. If you could check with someone, and if I'm able to convince them to donate it, because it will just drop. And
I think, Your Honor, you're in a better position to persuade the family. I don't know them.
no, just make your staff go to see if it's worth it at all.
Okay.
Kasi just by with
Sa
my...
Aninii din ito?
No, that's San Jose, the capital
San Jose.
town.
Antique.
Maganda sa mata ko. But
Pero
I'm
para
not sure.
ihabol po sa taong ito, kasi we have to make some rough estimates to catch.
Ako nang bahala doon. Ibig
sige.
sabihin, if they're, first, tell me first if it's worth it. Because
Okay.
naked eye, I'm not an expert. If heritage experts will say it's worth rehabilitating, then I will talk to them, i-donate nyo. Sayang
So
naman.
2018 pa yun.
Hinahayaan, oo.
2018.
Now, I anticipate it will take time.
Yeah,
So for
2018.
2018, kasi
Yeah.
papeles, we want it private. However, if they say, okay, immediately we'll donate it in 1 week because nobody cares. It's,
Register of Deeds, ang
kaya lang,
tagal po
it will
yan.
take time.
Matagal po
Yeah.
yan.
So we see.
Ito lang yung
Otherwise,
kay Ponce,
2018.
tagal.
Otherwise, 2018. Just so that you
2018.
mark it already.
Yeah,
So,
2018.
Aninii, you have the funds, Patnongon, the ruins, that's for 2016 as
Yes,
well.
yes, Your Honor.
The old legislative building, the old provincial capitol is beautiful.
Of Antique?
Yes, and it's not in a state of disrepair. That's where the Javier Museum is, Evelio Javier Museum, yung may ground floor. Can you look at that as well? That is government. So,
But if it's in a good condition, we
no,
don't prioritize
when I say good
it.
condition, it's not in disrepair like the Asurin house, which I saw. Nakapasok pa ako, but disrepair, it's not rehabilitated. Ang ganda-ganda. So that I can fund immediately because it's owned by the local government, the provincial government of Antique, and I will talk to the governor to allow you to rehabilitate it. That-
2018.
no, 2017.
Mahirap po mag-estimate. Papadala tayo
No,
ng
we
tao
can
doon.
put an initial fund so that it's already there. So, if you could please visit the private house so that it's for 2018, and the provincial capital for 2017, and we will fund the initial so that in 2018, even just for study, for maybe, who knows, it's just
Is it
simple-
currently occupied?
It's occupied, I don't know, is it occupied?
Because our problem there is always they have to find an alternative relocation site while we fix it, and that's sometimes where we get bogged
No, I'm
down.
providing them. I'm providing them the executive building in the lot at the back. And
so
so
may-
they,
may
actually
site.
they've signified this years ago. I never had a chance to really fund it. So I will fund them, we'll put it, Attorney Yoli, hanapan nyo kung saan yung executive building ng Antique. Hindi ko alam kung may counterpart funds sa lokal o all national government at the likod. That's my amendment to the budget. Not under NHCP, but under NHCP will be the soon-to-be vacated building for 2017. Even just initial para 2018 ang completion. At least nasimulan na. That's
Okay.
been pending, hindi ko, nakakalimutan ko eh. Ngayon ko naalala
Alright.
when I saw all of this. So, two things that the NHCP experts will look at, whether the balay na bato, is worth it, and if it's worth it, then we talk to the family. If they don't want, then leave it. Sayang, it's falling apart, it's beautiful. Now, the Heritage Executive Legislative Building, that papayag sila sigurado because they've been asking. Ngayon ko lang naalala yon. And they're willing to move. Okay.
No problem, thank you.
And just give us the amount initially. What's comfortable na hindi
Just a
sayang.
rough estimate, no?
Yeah,
Okay.
5, 10,
Yeah.
para masimulan.
Sige. Thank you, Your Honor. And
So
the-
you will write us to amend the Mariano Ponce up to October 15 and how much
To replace.
the Antique Legislative Building will be.
All right.
The reason why I want NHCP to do it is the locals can actually just fix the ceilings, repaint it, but I'm so scared that they might restore it in a way that's not faithful to the original.
Okay.
Because the provincial capital now was painted red. I don't know, fuchsia? Anong kulay yun? Yellow? Ano ba yun? Red. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really boring and corny, but I don't know. Some people have a penchant for colors, and I went there and I said, bakit ganitong kulay? Proud na proud sila ganon. Hindi bagay. So baka naman yung original ay pula, hindi ko alam, baka mali ako. Pero pakitignan nyo.
Sige po.
Oo, yan, okay. So
And-
remind me please, amendment ko yung old building. Thank you.
Then the next set of slide would be government structures.
Just back to Antique. Last year, the rice terraces in what town is this? San Remillo was discovered by UP Visayas experts. Which agency of government is taking care of it? Under which agency? It's rice terraces, just discovered. No, DNR is not even aware of it. Who should be careful? Who should care for it?
Madam Senator, for,
Yes.
for the anthropological aspects of that site, it's already been referred to the National Museum.
So you're familiar with it.
Yes.
The locals who discovered it, when I say locals, UP Visayas professors and local people, tourism
Yeah.
of the LGUs.
Local cultural workers.
So
yeah.
that's National Museum.
Yes, for the cultural aspects.
Are you doing
yeah.
anything about it?
I'll have to double check, but
When you present your budget in a few minutes, can you look if it's there? Because if it's not there, I want to allocate funding for that, not to develop it. In fact, they don't even want me to build a road there. They want to stay where they are.
yes,
But my point is, there are homes that have been there. Who is supposed to see how these houses or structures are in this newly discovered terraces? Who has the capacity to understand, to rehabilitate it? Should it be all NM?
yes, you'll see when we present our budget, there's no project involving this site, but certainly it's part of our research agenda for 2017.
For research?
Yeah.
Okay.
Documentation, research, study.
Documentation. I'm not even sure whether the houses are like the Ifugao Ifugao homes, because it may be rice terraces but different. I'm not sure how it is. It was just reported here a year ago during the budget hearing. So it's NM. Yes.
The team should have done the research. Normally, when you make such a discovery, you document what you discover.
No, there's documentation
So
already.
there's no need to research. It's more the rehabilitation.
should
But
be
if it's privately owned, that's a problem.
It's not privately owned. It's LGU. The whole terraces is local government. The houses, I don't know how they look. I'm not even sure if there's a titling system there. I'm not sure how it is. So let's just leave it with the National Museum. And may I request the National Museum to work directly with two groups, the local government, what is the name of the contact person there? can you give the name of the person who presented here, right? The one who discovered it with the UP. He's a, what is he, a trekker? What is he, a mountain climber? Bakit mo alam? Hindi ko alala mo. He's a tour guide, mountain climber, etc., but very culture-oriented. And the UP Visayas professors, anthropologists, could you work with them on that? Sayang eh, kasi baka mawala yung terraces. We want to preserve it.
I'm sure there's already been contact and some activity. I'll furnish your office with an update ASAP.
They have
once-
all the studies in whatever's available, whatever they did in UP Visayas. But if an NM and UP Visayas could work on this, yeah, with the most minor of intrusion to the locals who live there. Yes, Chair Jun.
Inform the body that the research and documentation of that site has been submitted to us. We have not read it, but we will give you a copy.
UP Visayas gave it to the NCCA.
Yes, gave it to the NCCA.
I see.
Because last year we advised the local people, the local government, to pass a resolution first declaring it some kind of a local cultural treasure before it is
Was it
submitted.
already declared?
It has to be locally declared before it's submitted to the National Museum. But so far they have not done it because I think they did some kind of research.
Insofar, because there have been resolutions for us to declare, and so yes, we suggested that that they do the documentation as to the significance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have not read it because it was just submitted, I think, today or yesterday. But there has to be a local resolution. To the National Museum.
Thank you, Your Honor. The next set of structures are secular structures owned by the government. The first one is the old Iloilo City Hall, which is now part of the UP Visayas in Iloilo City. The university wrote and asked us if we could restore it. This building is a National Historical Landmark based on the design of Juan Arellano and Francesco Monti, completed in 1936. It's in a deteriorated state. The second one, also requested by the city government of Cotabato. This is beautiful. I'm sure you've seen this. The old city hall, it's wood, 2-floor, but it's really in a bad state. So we are asking to restore this structure. The next one, the Silay Periculture Center, is also owned by the local government. They wrote and asked if we could restore this American period wooden structure, which incidentally forms part of the declared heritage town of Silay. The next one is Fort Piquet in North Cotabato. Again, a request from the local government. This is a 19th century Spanish fort, which bears our historical marker. The next one is the Gapan Presidencia in Nueva Ecija. We received a request from the municipal government to restore the Spanish period building. The local government will eventually repurpose it as a museum. So our work is the restoration part. No, the Gapan Presidencia. Yes, Your Honor. Then the Iwahig Prison, this is also wood. This is declared as a National Historical Landmark. Built in the early 20th century. What we are looking at is the recreation hall, made of wood. And the last one is a request from the president of the Abra State Institute of Sciences. This used to be a Gabaldon school, and they wrote to ask if we could rehabilitate it.
Just like my question in the first time, you've cross-checked it with DepEd for the
Abra
Gabaldon
is
funds.
tertiary, Commissioner. Tertiary po yung Abra. It's not,
Souks
it's a-
yan, sa souks.
yes. Then the
Are
last,
there Gabaldon souks? I thought the Gabaldon,
no, it must have been at one point in its life a high
Tapos
school
ginamit
that
na
got
souk.
converted into a local
Okay.
college or something. The last set would be our historic churches, restoration of historic churches. The first one is the Pavia Church in Santa Monica, the Santa Monica Parish in Iloilo. This has been a long-standing request of the diocese and the local congressman. So we want to work on this. The next one is the Tobacco Church. So one is in Iloilo, Pavia, Iloilo. The next one is in Tobacco Church in Albay. And then the Magdalena Church. This was a request from the parish of the church. It's a 19th century stone church, and historically it's where Emilio Jacinto stayed during part of the revolution. Then we have San Sebastian Church in Sablayan, Occidental, Mindoro. Again, this was a request from the parish endorsed by the municipal government. The Immaculate Conception Church of Guagua, Pampanga, this bears our historical marker. There is a request from the pastoral community. This was built in 1661. Your Honor, here I have a request because the amount allowed us for this project was only 5 million, but when our team inspected the church, they have asked for 10 million more for a total budget of 15.
The Ponce funds to
To
this.
this. May we?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. And then the Bacon Church Bell Tower in Bacon, Sorsogon. Bacon, that's
So just so that we're,
Yes,
just
Your
to do
Honor.
my math, I know that there was a 10 and a 5. You transfer 1/5 of Ponce here if if it's needed.
Yes.
And the other 10 of
Also
Ponce,
Ponce.
will be for the San Jose Antique Legislative Building.
so I'll need 5 more for these.
Because you have 15 for Ponce.
Ah,
You
so
had
we'll get
for
it from there.
curatorial and you had for capital
So San
outlay.
Jose is only 5.
San
Yung
Jose
municipal,
can be 10.
that's
because
only 15 eh.
you 15.
Okay.
And you're asking for 5 more for
So-
Concepcion?
10.
10 more.
10.
Okay.
Kailangan ng
then we
total
have,
of 15.
Additional 5.
Okay po.
Yes.
Sige, salamat po.
So instead, unless Ponce is settled, then we just augment it. Then, yes, I give in to your request. If you think it's needed for the 10 of Concepcion, then you provide the 10 for capital outlay. Wag mo ng curatorial for the San Jose Antique.
San
Not,
Jose.
not the house, this is the
The
legislative
capital.
building.
The provincial.
yes.
You want 10M? 10 for that?
That's just off my it's
Sige.
initial. So that masimulan
May
na.
starting money. Okay. The last one is the Bacon Church Bell Tower. The tower is the only remnant of the original church, so we want to preserve it as a historic heritage structure and a layer of memory. That's our total of 481 million for our capital outlay, Your Honor. Now, your other questions were?
You're allowed to implement projects like this, right?
Yes, we do.
You're not just policy making. So that's very,
No.
and you've been doing this.
Yes,
all
Your
these
Honor.
years. And clearly, you don't have your own personnel, engineers, painters.
We
You
do.
are your own contractor, or do you
no.
subcontract it?
We contract these. We bid out, but we have our own engineers and architects as well because the projects have to be
They
supervised.
have to be supervised.
And the plans have to
Yes,
be.
yes. Importante
Yes,
lang.
yes
yun,
po.
Consultation with the local communities,
Always.
with heritage experts,
The
with engineers,
diocese,
the
everything.
diocese.
LGU.
Yes,
And not only one, it's throughout the project. Because in the beginning,
because perennially we receive complaints, not just about you, about everyone. Pag may rinirehabilitate, whether it's National Museum, remember, in Zamboanga, or kayo sa Bohol, locals and national heritage
think-
groups, they text me. So I'm not in a position, I'm not an expert. I work with government. I support you because you know the need. And I assume, whether you're NM or NCCA or NHEP, you are equipped with the expertise and the experts, whether in-house or subcontracted. I leave it to your better judgment because it's not for me to
Yeah.
decide.
I think what happens
Pag
is
umaa-
when we hold the stakeholders, not everybody is present. So it is possible that those who write, I mean, in fairness to them, were probably not present. But all our stakeholder discussions are documented. We have minutes, we have attendance, everything is documented. And we hold throughout the project quite often. From the beginning, before even we start, we present the plan. After the bidding, we introduce the contractor, and then throughout the project. So I have to say that attendance in the stakeholders, it's not always the same people
Correct.
who go.
All I'm saying lang, let's restore it as faithfully as it was how it was before and explain it to the people. Yeah, because we don't want to be funding something that is not faithful to its original structure. Were you able, which reminds me, Jeremy, yung sa Zamboanga, okay na, natapos na yon yung,
Well, mostly except for a few.
because there were complaints about the way it was being restored, right?
Well, yes,
It's been
there's
explained.
lack of understanding as to the
Yeah.
purpose. Yeah.
Pero tama naman yung pagka-restore nyo. I would imagine, research nyo yan, yan ang trabaho nyo, you would know, right?
Yes.
Sige, kayo na yun.
Well, thank you.
Okay, thanks. How about
That's-
the one in Bohol? It's,
That's this
Wala
year's
nang problema.
budget. No, yes, that's,
there were complaints, no?
no,
Yun yung
from one person. So when we
just
talked to
one
the
person.
diocese, they were quite surprised. Bishop Medroso and the parish priests were, even Ed Chato was surprised.
Okay.
But we presented to them the complaint, we explained it, and
Okay.
they were actually more than surprised, they were quite upset.
Okay.
But we present. So that's it. We have that's our capital outlay, 481. The rest is MOOE. Can you go back to the first slide? MOE is also less than last year, but we can live with the less. It's okay. I mean, we won't die. So, not going to ask for anything there.
It was sacrificed in MOE.
Sa MOE, yes. We had a few balances in some of the projects charged to MOOE. So that's carried over anyway. So, okay lang po. That's it.
The unobligated 2015 that has to be
Ito,
used by December of
152.
this year.
2015.
Ito naman.
Magagamit ba natin yan?
Yes, ma'am. Tapos na ito, ma'am. Ito na yung part ng ball natin.
So, itong balance.
Ito naman nagagamit na po natin yan lahat.
Okay.
Ongoing ngayon. Ongoing.
So, we have
52 million yet
yes,
to
of
spend in
which
3
we have
months.
obligated 141 million
meron na.
977.
Oh, use it, ha? Use it.
Yes, yes.
Ayoko nagasole, sayang.
Opo. Opo.
Sige.
Yes. So we'll just write you the letter. We'll send our team to Antique.
It's on record, but summarize
we
it,
write.
please. October 15, the deadline for Ponce. If not, you move the 15, 5 curatorial, 10 capital outlay to your augmentation of the 10 for the Guagua. And then the 5 will be for the Antique Legislative Building, the Capitolio starting fund. And then to Ocular, the Bahay na Bato, if it's worth it. And then we talk to them whether they're willing to donate it, and I'll fund it for 2018. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. KWF? Are you CFL or KWF? KWF. Bigay mo sa akin yun. Yes. KWF, please.
Magandang hapon po. Hayaan niyo pong i-present ko yung pondo mula nung naaprubahan sa NEP at ang ilang detalye. Padadaanin ko rin po ang presentation sa ilang mga proyektong itatampok namin na gusto namin bigyan ng diin dahil ito yung output mula sa congressional initiative sa tulong po ninyo at sa bandang huli po nais namin bigyan din po ang hihinging dagdag na pondo mula sa NEP level dahil po nais naming ibigyan ng intensified implementation yung mga patuluyang proyekto po na naumpisahan mula sa mga congressional initiative. So ang NEP level po ay 61,821,000 at dito ang MOE ay 37% at ang PS 63%. Ibig sabihin 22,726,000 lang po ang pupunta sa MOE na siya pinanggagalingan ng aming mga proyekto at ang iba ay ang personal PS na. Ang pondo po ng KWF, kung makikita ninyo sa aming slide, ang trend ng pondo po ng KWF ay kaunti lang yung pagtaas at yung pagtaas ay galing pa nga po sa congressional initiative.
We go
Oo.
straight to your budget.
Opo.
Oo. Hindi ko rin makita yun. So, yung inyong
NEP po ay
2016, yes.
na
Ay, 2017
2017 ay 61,821. Opo. Pero kasama na dyan po yung RLIP. So, ang actual po ay 58,
Napakalit
opo,
naman po ng budget nyo.
58,601 lang po.
Meron ba kayong kahilingan
Opo.
na gusto, nagamit ba nyo yung aking amendments for this year? You had a request amendments
Opo.
for 2016 na pinagbigyan ko po.
Opo. Ang naidagdag po mula sa congressional initiative ay napunta, meron po dyan, ang estado po ng mga proyekto, ay napunta sa kasalukuyan buwan ng panitikan, napunta po ang 1 million, andyan po yung estado. Tertulya sa panitikan po, kasama doon sa buwan ng panitikan, Dandanyo, 800, ang Kongreso,
Ito yung mga
2 million.
dagdag o yung
po,
amendments for 2016.
Ito lang po yung
Nagamit
dagdag.
naman po. Okay.
Nagamit po.
At ano, what is their 2015 unused appropriations na mag-expire ng Desyembre?
4.5 lang po.
1 million o
Oo.
1 million?
CO lang po yun
Okay.
para sa isang
Sayang.
vehicle.
Okay.
Opo. Pero nagamit
Huwag
po
na natin
lahat.
i-detalya to.
Oo.
Ano po ang inyong submission na kinat at ngayon na sa NEP? Na ano ang inyong programa or capital outlay na magsasuffer dahil sa cut mula sa submission nyo hanggang sa NEP?
Sa 2017 po. Oo. Well, may patuloy din pong pagkukuhanan sa MOE, kaya lang halimbawa po sa gawaing pagsasalin, nais namin dagdagan ng sana kahilingan namin additional 7 million para po maparami ang mga mabibigyan ng training para sa sertipikong programa sa pagsasalin ng mga teksto at kagamitan pang pagtuturo para sa DepEd at ang palitang salin o Translation Exchange Program. Yun po para sa gawaing pagsasalin na hinihingi namin ng karagdagang 7 million. Ang
That was in your initial submission. Ito po yung inyong unang binigay.
Opo, naibigay po yan. At ang pagsasanay at edukasyon, 12 million po ang hinihingi sana namin para madagdagan yung gawaing pambansang reorientasyon at pagtuturo ng Filipino bilang pangalawang wika. At isang pandaigdigang kongreso po ang hinihiling namin na magawa namin sa 2017. Ito po yung pandaigdigang kongreso para sa mga pag-aaral hinggil sa
Ganito na lang
Pilipinas,
po.
sa wikang
Yung
Filipino.
mga i-prioritize nyo yung iyong hindi na pagbigyan po ng DBM
Apo.
at titignan po namin sa kahuli-huli sa amendments kung kaya. Otherwise, you can live with your budget.
Aha. We can live with our budget, but
And ibigay na lang po nyo yung
Pag-
iyong kahilingan kung
Apo.
kaya po natin.
Opo.
Then I don't have to go through it. Maliit ang budget nyo eh.
Opo.
Okay.
So yun po, ang nais lang namin nakaragdag on top of the NEP po ay additional funds para ma-intensify yung ginagawa namin. Halimbawa, kung ngayon nakakagawa kami ng like 15 scholars po para doon sa pagsasalin, training, na libre namin binibigay, gusto namin madoble at mas malawak pa pambansa ang aming hinihiling na marating. Pati po yung saliksik, halimbawa, saliksik para sa mga terminong panghanap buhay, bantayog wika, halimbawa po, nais namin gumawa ng mga language markers sa buong Pilipinas po para sa lalo-lalo na mga katutubong wika, kung saan talaga sila nandun. Idinagdag po namin sa gawaing saliksik, halimbawa po ang 15
Yung
million.
katutubong wika,
Apo.
ito po ay saliksik, ito ba ho ay documentation, ano ba ho ito?
Hindi. Mula po doon sa unang gawain namin na mapa ng mga wika ng Pilipinas na natumbok po namin yung 130. Nakagawa kami ng mapa dito at libro, lalabas na po yung atlas ng mga wika sa Pilipinas. Nais namin tukuyin yung mga katubong wika na kailangan lagyan ng bantayog para meron naman pong parang sinasabing simbolo na ito ay ang komunidad sa wikang ito. Parang ganun po. So, kikilalanin, tutukuyin pa po mula dun sa 130. Kaya 15 million lang po yung
130 po ang
ang
ating
wika.
mga
Mga wika po. Nabalida po yan.
na valid na yan.
Opo, opo, na-validate
Sa
po.
130 po na ating wika ay nakamap na po yan.
Opo, nakamapa
Alam
na yan.
natin yung
Oo.
ngalan ng wika,
Opo.
saan pong sa geografiya na
Opo.
lugar sa
Opo.
Pilipinas. Alam po natin yung mga katutubong tao, ang pangalan po nila.
Ang komunidad
At
po, opo.
meron na po tayong dokumentasyon kung anong klaseng tao yun, anong kanilang kultura. Meron na po yun.
Opo, lalabas po yun sa atlas. May atlas po, nakasama yung
Ginagawa
mapa.
natin ngayong taong ito.
Opo,
Itong karagdagan nyo para sa
2017 po.
2017, ano po yun?
Yung,
Pagpatuloy ng programang yon?
hindi po, pagtatayo ng mga bantayog wika, language markers nga po para doon sa mga wikang,
For this 130?
hindi po lahat, kundi
What do you mean by
bibigyan-
language markers?
parang yung mga historical markers po na
Markers,
opo,
physical.
physical po.
Mm.
Oo.
Saan sila?
Oo, kung saan sila at yung nagmamay-ari ng wika sa komunidad na yun.
So it's actually a monument.
Oh, monument
A physical
po.
marker.
Opo, physical markers.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Yung
Pantayog
130 ba,
wika.
kaya natin lagyan ng markers?
Kung pwede pong lahat, pero yung 15 million na hinihingi namin, baka pang konti lang ito.
Anong,
Oo.
is there a uniform kind of a marker? What is it? Like a cement
I-design pa
structure?
po. I-design pa po.
Why does it cost so much to do? The marker can be made of an indigenous material. It can be, first of all, the land should be in a
Opo.
public place. It should be in the LGU. Second, a marker can be
Opo.
just even a recycled piece of wood. It's just really a reminder of what it is. Yeah.
Sa saliksikin po yun, kung ano rin po ang kagustuhan ng komunidad, depende rin po yan. Mm-mm.
So the 15 million is for the physical markers.
Physical markers
Capital
po.
outlay po
Opo,
yun.
kung
For the 30 of the 130? How many? Ilan po?
Yung 15 million po, hindi pa po alam kung ilan, pero tatarget ng 130 kung kaya, kung kakayanin.
15. Is it 15 million?
15 million po, 1.5.
Okay. That we put the language markers. It's important that
Apo.
it's number one done in a private, in a public place,
Apo.
coordinate with LGU. And I think you can squeeze in the 130 markers.
All
Ano
of
naman
it.
yung marker? Let's just use the most inexpensive,
Opo.
sustainable, local material. It is not a building.
No,
It is not
hindi
a
po.
monument.
No.
It is a simple marker.
Opo.
It can be even a marker in the LGU. So this 15 million was just a
I-decide.
number you came up with. There's no study, there is no
Wala
design.
pa po, opo. Sasaliksikin pa po yung
Okay, we give that
karap-
15 million, but please include the 130,
30, all
which
of
is
it.
already contained in our
Opo.
atlas. In short,
Okay.
there's no research to be done because we've researched that. We've talked about this for years whenever I sit here, and then we know there's 130 are.
Opo.
So it's a matter of finding the place in the 130 where the languages are located. so
And
that
the
we can
design
have
of
that
the mark, opo.
Design of the marker. So just and then yung iba po, pag-aaralan po natin. Then
sige po.
We're okay with your budget.
Maraming salamat po.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So the 15 is sure.
Oo.
An example of a language, the Tiboli language, for example, right?
Opo.
What do you call the Tiboli language? Ano pong tawag sa salita ng Tiboli?
Tiboli po yung wika. Oo.
Ilalagay nila sa LGU ng Lake Cebu.
Ng komunidad.
Ng
Opo.
komunidad.
Oo, ng komunidad.
Ha?
Oo, kaya nga po kailangan saliksikin at konsultahin yung mga native speakers dahil ang mga wika po hindi naikalat po, di ba? Dahil lumilipat-lipat din ng mga tao. Kaya nga hanapin po yung talagang pinagmulan ng wika.
Baka hindi pa kayo handa, maglalagay kami ng 15, hindi nyo magamit dahil sasaliksikin pa ho.
Ay, hindi po. Kasi meron na rin po, pwedeng konsultahin yung aming atlas. Ando na rin po yung mga location, halimbawa. So parang validation na lang.
Okay. That would be good. Also, dapat alam po ng DepEd para puntahan ng mga estudyante sa komunidad na yon.
Tama po.
Magiging local tourist attraction,
Opo.
parte ng ating kultura na ito. Pero may language class, pupuntahan ito. Yung marker na ito yung salita dati.
Opo.
Tapos
At
magtuturo ang teacher doon.
Oo. Yung sa marker po, nandun ang kaunting kasaysayan
Yun, dapat-
nung wika.
Oo.
Oo.
Yun.
At nagmamayari ng wika.
Tapos gagawa ka ng libro showing the 130 page book on the 130 markers
Markers.
in the 130 languages in what province, town, or city,
Opo.
barangay,
Correct
and what
po.
community.
Correct
Ayan,
po.
next year, yun ang libro mo. Para
Correct
hindi na ako lang umikot sa 130 markers nyo. Yun. Tapos gagawa ka rin ng video ng
online. Opo.
just a 12
Digital
minuter.
copy. Opo.
Yeah,
Pwede.
on that.
Mm-mm.
Okay?
Opo. Pati nga po yung mga mapa ng mga wika ng Pilipinas, balak din po namin gawa ng digital copy para pwede lang i-upload.
Dapat po, alam po ng DepEd ang inyong ginagawa para yung local DepEd schools ay makatulong din sa inyo sa pagkakalap ng impormasyon at paggawa na inyong marker ay mapupuntahan po ng kanilang mga estudyante.
Tama po.
Oo.
Ah.
Okay. Sige, thank you po.
Maraming salamat po.
Is there a model in the world of a country that has as much languages and they have the language markers?
Wala pa po. Wala pa kaming alam.
Tayo lang?
Mukhang tayo mauunang gagawa nun.
Chair June, tayo talaga?
Bilang respeto sa
Ang
mga...
ganda nun.
Wala pa po.
Uy,
Oo.
Diba?
Tayo lang po yun.
Ang nagbigay ng kahalagahan
Oo. Pagkilala po. Pagkilala at
pagkilala.
Oo.
Yeah, aking
Yeah.
Pilipino. Hindi. As it, then we're the only country that gives a value and importance and recognition.
Correct.
Pasensya na, in English ko. To our languages by giving tangible markers to the languages and where they originated.
Opo.
Yeah. And there can be language tours. So, ang DepEd dapat alam yan, tapos yung mga estudyante pupunta dyan,
Tama.
tapos gagawa kayo ng libro at ng video, papakita yan sa LGU, sa barangay hall, or sa DepEd school, tapos magkaka-walking tour. Nung ating panahon, ito yung salita dito, ito yung languages, pwede ituro. So meron kang manganganak yan ng 130 local language tours. Yan.
Tama po.
Diba? Mag-develop kayo ng template. Ano ba ang language tours? Do a 20-minute language tour. Paano ba ito? What is the importance of the Tiboli language to the Tibolis in Lake Cebu? When did it start?
Tama.
So may local lecturer. Oh, that's going to be a culturally related job. You can
Yeah,
get
with
some local...
DOT even. With
Yeah.
DOT.
So you link please with DepEd and with DOT.
DOT.
Then you will have 130 new local tourist destinations, domestic tourists, who are culturally inclined, who'd like to know more about languages. And then the connection of language to the people who started the language, whether they're not necessarily indigenous people, right?
No,
They
no.
could be indigenous or not. Or are they all indigenous people? So I want to be educated. Are they all indigenous people? I'm not sure. And then, what is the local environment in which that language thrived? Or is it a dying language? How do you revive it? Then they have a walking tour to as part of the language marker tour.
Opo,
So
very
you develop three
educational,
things. You will develop a walking tour, you will develop a video, which you will upload in your website. I hope you have a website. And you will develop a hard copy, simple, understandable
For
for
distribution,
the
yeah.
for the LGUs, people in the community, and the DepEd
Apo.
schools. Okay. And let's not make it fancy or expensive. It's just really a commemorative marker of the language.
Yeah. Opo.
Are we the only country in the world to do that?
Mukhang wala pa akong alam na may
Really?
mga language markers, wala pa.
Mr. Almario ang nag-isip po nito?
Ang ano po, ang planning, ang mga commissioner.
That's actually a good idea. Yeah. Because we give markers, we have markers for old houses, churches, whether this pottery was fine, by buying, the script, all of that. But for language, we don't have a marker on language.
Gusto ko pong i-acknowledge yung ideya ng galing sa aming isang commissioner na katutubo po, Higaonon,
Higaunon.
si Commissioner
Taga saan po
Flores.
kayo?
Region 10, Iligan.
Higaunon.
Iligan, Higaonon, Iligan.
That's a very good idea.
Oo.
Yeah, it's thinking out of the box. It's interesting because language nga is intangible eh. So we're appreciating, making people appreciate and recognize something intangible by having something tangible
yeah.
in a common place, in a place that could be appreciated. Okay, good. Sige. Thank you.
Thank you po.
We proceed now with National Archives. Again, don't go through your budget. Just give me the bottom line. What is your budget? What is your unused that you have to use till December of 2015? Baka naman hindi nag-agree sa akin, NCCA tsaka NM. Tama ba? Tama yon? Oo. Okay. They have markers in Spain of language. Okay.
Good afternoon, Senator.
Good
For
afternoon.
2017, DVM recommended a total of 128,387 for NAPS budget. Next slide, please. Out of 13 activities totaling 600 million for funding, the following are recommended by DBM. One is the ISO activities, 2,031,000, and the purchase of 500 steel shelves for our one Davao, totaling 7,031,000. Next, please. Presented is the comparative figures of GAA for 2016 and NEP for 2017. A net increase of 41,000 or 3.3% for NAP budget, which was mainly brought about by the increase in PS due to implementation of salary adjustment.
I just want to know, magkano po yung natitira po nyo na kailangang gastusin hanggang Desyembre? From the 2015 budget. Just that.
From 2015, we have 20 million unused funds. But as of August, it was reduced to 7 million.
7 million?
Yes.
Ba't ito? Bakit sa amin 492,000 lang?
The 478 million for intendentia was included, which
This
is
is 498
unreleased.
million. 92,000.
92
1,000.
million.
Teka. 492
2
million
million.
ang dapat gamitin hanggang Disyembre?
Part of it was the 478 million, which was intended for intendentia, but was
Yun.
unreleased.
Yun yung capital outlay
Yes, ma'am.
na unreleased at hindi na.
At hindi na po
Hindi na
nare-release until
papondohan.
now.
Okay, make sure lang. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
sige. Okay
That's
na
all,
kayo?
ma'am. Ma'am, can we request for, kasi may mga pinonopose kami na hindi na,
What were your, show me yung mga kinat sa inyo.
yung isa is yung purchase ng microfilm reader, printer, scanner. So,
Magkano yun?
2.8 million.
Microfilm.
Scanner.
Wala kayong microfilm scanner?
Reader scanner. Meron po kami pero ano na siya, outdated na.
Ano pa?
Tsaka yung aming continuation na digitization for Regional Archives Network
much is that?
Cebu. It was cost 8 million, 8.7 million.
Microfilm scanner is necessary, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yun lang po.
And you don't have any budget, if I don't give you your digitization, you'll stop digitization of your archives for
For
2017?
one Cebu and one Davao.
I'm sorry?
For our regional archival network.
Only?
Yes.
And what is the other digitization budget?
For our main, for the continuation.
You will not do anything in 2017?
For the Spanish records only.
I don't understand. You said the whole digitization budget was scrapped except for Cebu and Davao. If I don't restore the 8 million, then you will not do anything in the central office for digitization?
Ma'am, bali ang nakat lang yung sa Cebu and Davao.
Cebu and Davao were cut?
Yes.
I see.
Yung
And
sa
you
main
want
namin continue.
that restored?
Yes.
Bakit
ma'am.
Davao pa ang nakat?
Yun ang hindi.
Anyway, we'll look into that. Pero meron naman kayong trabahong digitization sa 2017?
Yes, ma'am, meron po.
Okay. Yung microfilm na muna, then we'll look at the others.
Yes,
Please
ma'am.
submit it.
Thank you
Thank
po.
you.
Ma'am, it might help to know the archives has quite substantial grants from NCCA for digitization as well.
Okay, good that you're telling me. Ang dami yung grant eh. Oo nga, from the endowment. From the NEFCA pala, yeah. O meron pala kayo eh, tama na muna.
Ma'am,
Oo.
yung digitization mention was for the, yung pag-acquire namin ng records from other archives, from international archives.
Acquisition of records, but
Yeah.
not digitization.
We will digitize the Philippine records which was located in Mexico. That is the project I know na funded na NCCA. But not yung digitization ng own record ng National Archives.
So we'll look at that. If hindi naman zinero ang inyong digitization, we'll look at that. But yung acquisition of the microfilm, yes, capital outlay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you po.
Thank you. But submit it. Kung maluwag-luwag ang budget at hindi masyadong maraming humihingi, mapapagbigyan.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you po, sir.
Thank you.
Madam Senator, again, I'm sorry it's not my budget here, but sitting next to our distinguished library director, it's a matter of deep concern for us, and I'm sure I can include Chair De Leon, that the archives is going to remain homeless for the foreseeable future, because we're greatly concerned for the historical collection. And with the scrapping of the Intendencia project, though I understand it was reported to us at the NCCA board meetings that Director Manalo has appealed to President Duterte, and apparently the President has asked for an explanation why the project was scrapped. That there's no provision as of now for 2017 or even in the horizon for a building for the archives. At the moment, they're taking up a portion of the library building, but it's not an ideal situation.
The archives are still where they are. And they were supposed to move for several years ago to the Intendencia, which has been a controversy between
Yeah.
government agencies.
Mhm.
And according to, I don't know who I spoke with, it's not the ideal site because it's by the river.
Well, that's one argument, ma'am. But it got derailed because of a ownership issue.
DOT and
Yeah,
archives.
DOT through Intramuros Administration, and
I will only fund it if there's certainty.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to fund 400 million and it goes to waste.
yes, of course.
Once it is settled, we will fund it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you for giving me that information.
Thank you, ma'am.
If you can work it out, but it's already, that should have been settled. Kung papayag, i-restore ko yung 400 eh. Ako pa, gustong-gusto ko Intramuros. Kaya lang, kung masayang na naman,
Because you mentioned the UP idea, but since the end of the last administration, that hasn't moved anywhere either.
I think it's for the NCCA because archives is part of the NCCA and it's for the head of the NCCA of the archives to really settle that problem. It's only for us to fund it once the site is certain. And I'll be most supportive once the site is certain. Yeah. It's not for the Senate to look for a site for the archives. No. But thank you for that input. Okay. We proceed to the National Library. Library. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Reyes.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. The proposed budget of the National Library of the Philippines for 2017 is 196,712. So our original proposal is 357 million. The DBM recommended only for 196,712.
The cut was?
A cut of 75 million.
Ano po yung nakat na yon?
Yun pong mga projects namin for public libraries na Technoklatan, Book Mobile.
Napag-usapan na rin natin yung dito
Opo.
ilang taon na. No?
Opo.
Hindi natutuloy.
Hindi
Kasi
po,
kinakat.
hindi po na-approve.
Parang
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
roving library.
Yes, Your Honor.
Pero yung inyong digitization po.
Continuous po ang digitization namin sa library ng mga documents namin.
So what will suffer is the roving library. At
Opo.
75 million, laki naman po.
75 po do. Opo. Yun po ang ano.
O just submit your,
Yung Technoklatan po na
what's Technoklatan po?
i-digitize po lahat ng mga documents and sa library na
Is the
important.
digitization in-house? Are you subcontracting it?
In-house po yung ngayon. Yung before po sa IPEL, yun sa Filipino e-library before po na-digitize na po ang maraming documents namin.
Pero hindi po, Ziniro, you have budget for 2017 for digitization.
Opo, included po yun every year sa budget
And,
namin.
so my question is, ano po ang magsasuffer na proyekto po nyo sa pagkat po nung 75? Roving.
Isa po yung sa roving, isa po yung project.
Huwag na tayo mag-roving kasi may online na ngayon at lahat
There's
eh.
yung Technoklatan po. The modernization program of the Philippine Public Libraries using information and communication technology. Ay, okay.
Ilan ba ho ang library sa ilalim po ninyo, maliban nyo nandito sa Maynila po? Ang pinupondohan nyo
Opo.
sa ilalim po ng inyong budget.
Opo. For book allocation po yun na binibigay namin sa public libraries. Very minimal po lang yun.
Hindi, teka po. Ang inyong pondo po ay para sa main library po nyo. Pero yung 1,300 na binanggit po ninyo ay hindi nyo library, nasako po ninyo sa maintenance.
Opo. Lahat po yun ay affiliated sa amin.
Oo,
Pero
everything
we give books to them.
You give books to them, pero hindi po kayo ang nagme-maintain ng capital outlay, sweldo ng tao, hindi po.
Hindi po. Hindi
Ang
po.
sa inyo, ito lang pong sa library dito.
Opo.
Okay. Nabigyan ko na ba kayo ng mga ng mga libro ko? Lahat?
Ano?
Lahat. Kompleto.
Ma'am, ano po, for correction. We have, meron po kaming congressional libraries under sa amin, ang Bohol Congressional Library, ang Sentro ng Kurunungan Library, ang Bohol Batanes, and also isa pa, Batak Library po. Yun po ay, ang budget po na noon ay sa amin po nakalagay. Doon po nilalagay yung budget. Locally funded projects po yun.
Bigay po namin sa inyo, maliban po dito sa Manila, ay Batak, Batanes,
Oo,
at
kasama po doon sa aming budget.
ay kayo po ang nagme-maintain ng
Opo,
kanilang
kami po.
library, hindi po yung LGU.
Hindi po.
Ibig sabihin, property po ng National Library.
Yung pong infrastructure at saka yung sa local government, and
Oh.
then
Kailangan sila magpondo
opo,
nun.
Opo. At
Bakit
saka
ganun?
yung iba, galing po
Bakit
kasi
ganun?
yung pondo nun sa DBM nga, na kami po
Yan.
ang,
Kala ko lahat ng pondo po ay para sa inyo, pero
meron
napupunta
pong
po,
nakasingit na apat na
Sino po
locally
yung
funded.
apat?
Yung Batanes,
oh.
yung,
Dapat i-turn over na yun sa LGU, sila nagpatayo ng struktura, sila na ang mag-maintain.
and then Bohol po.
Which
and
part
then,
of Bohol?
Sa Balilihan,
Pero ang may-ari po nito ay LGU.
LGU, and, opo.
Oo.
And then, sa amin po kasi pinapadaan yung budget nila eh. Sa amin.
I don't understand. Ha? Bakit national government ang nag-fund ng...
Ma'am, kasi ano po yun, may RA, yung Sentro ng Karunungan and Bohol. Meron pong batas, at saka doon po sa Batak. Lahat po yun,
Batak, Batanes, Bohol, ano po yung isa?
Tondo po, congressional. Lahat po may RA yung mga yon. Lahat po project
Tondo.
sila.
There's a National Library project in Tondo.
Opo, may Sentro ng Karunungan.
I'd like to visit that you
Opo.
fund.
Opo.
Tao nyo, PS nyo?
Tao
Sino
namin,
nyo?
isa lang po ang tao namin doon. And then yung iba ho, mga JO. And then sa Bohol, isa ho yung ang librarian sa amin sumasweldo. And then yung remaining JO din po.
Po ang funding dun sa mga libraries na yon.
Opo, ang
Can you just give us a list of those 4 libraries that get from your budget for your national library? And the basis for funding those local libraries, and let's see if they're capable of funding themselves so that the funds will be given to you because there's so much need in your national library.
yes, yes, Your Honor.
Yes. I-submit na lang po nyo.
Opo.
Sige. Can you also ask for funds from the NEFCA for digitization, just like the archives?
Yes, opo. We ask also the NCCA for funding for our
Because-
preservation.
Oo. Have they granted you?
Yes, always po.
Always
Yes,
pala
ma'am.
eh. O yan. Marami naman ang pondong
Opo.
NEFCA, hindi na po kailangan sa GAA. Pero I'm very supportive of your digitization and all your needs. But perhaps itong techno, we will see. This is actually, you provide the ICT equipment for local libraries which are funded or created by local governments, right? They have so much money. Why should they ask the National Library when these local governments have so much money? They've IRA.
Oh.
They've IRA.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
Sige po. CCP. Ayan. May amendments po ako. Binigyan ko kayo nung hiniling nyo last year, yung
Yes, madam.
carpet, grand piano.
Grand piano,
Di ba, naalala ko lahat.
Yun yung Encyclopedia for Philippine Art.
Encyclopedia,
And the
CR,
1 million
pati yata
for
CR eh.
UP Concert Chorus po.
O, pa?
1 million for UP Concert
Eh,
Chorus.
pati CR ninyo. O, naalala ko lahat ng CCP.
The other year
eh.
pa po yun, madam.
The other year. So,
Last year po yung piano, grand piano, which
Oh,
is
na-purchase na po.
12.5. It's already awarded, notice of award. We're just waiting for the PO.
and Cinemalaya was also funded. Remember when you wrote me, who was it who wrote me that said that the private sector will pull out of Cinemalaya? I said that should not.
Yes.
So
Well,
we
that
provided
was-
the funding for the
yes.
continuation of Cinemalaya.
Well, it has
I hope
been-
it is alive and breathing.
It is still alive and breathing, ma'am.
Very good.
Waiting for you again.
Yes, yeah. I
attend.
wish, I wish I could. Okay.
Pero yung
So,
Cinemalaya po, madam,
that's
was
continuing
already
funding.
the other year pa po.
Yes.
The one last year,
But ibig ko sabihin, because hindi naman namatay, there's continuity, please include it in your annual NEP.
yes, we have been.
It's in your NEP now.
We have been
And it's not
including.
been cut.
Hindi naman po.
Okay, good. Sige. Para lang masanay ang gobyerno na hindi kinakat. Para maski wala na ako in 3 years, nandiyan pa rin siya. Just submit it in your NEP.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yung piano po, nagamit na ninyo.
Yung,
The back is working on it. Okay.
well, yung piano po, the back has already approved it. So, it's in the process of, So, this is our corporate operating budget for 2017. It's a total of 1,060,000,000, with CAPEX at 604, MOE at 254, and PS at 201. That's just the proportion of revenue against subsidy. And if you notice, Madam Senator, a comparative analysis of the budget will reveal that the personnel services have a slight increase. There is a decrease in the MOE because last year we had allocated the budget for a building audit. So that's the reason why it's less this year. Now the big jump is in the CAPEX because ever since last year, we had a 303 million allocation from the Department of Budget for the rehab of the CCP building. And this year, before Secretary Abad actually left office, he met with us and approved 604 million to cover the first tranches of the two buildings that were supposed to be built by CCP, the Artist Center and the theater. So they had allocated about 220 million for each of the buildings, which roughly is about 20% of the total cost, and another 150 million for the black box theater. So that accounts for the 604 million capex. So this is just a breakdown of the MOOE. Okay na po.
So you're happy with your budget?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Okay na. Just use your money. What is your unused appropriations of 2050 that will expire in 3 months?
I'm sorry, madam.
Wala nga. Corporation. So, continuing. Walang sayang. Oo. Walang nagre-revert pala. Okay na.
Actually, before we end this rather long budget hearing, yung concern po ng CCP sa salary standardization, because the Governance Commission had told us that since we are a losing corporation, we were not entitled to salary standardization and the corresponding bonuses. Actually, we wrote to the GCG again to reconsider.
You losing? How much are you losing?
Well,
annually?
actually, we have always been losing. As you can see, our subsidy.
What can you do to avoid this corporate
Our
loss?
land, madam, because for the longest time, we have about more than half of our land still on lease pendants. But happily, about 1 or 2 months ago, the Supreme Court awarded with finality that the titles of those lands under question have already been settled in favor of CCP. So now we are in the process of bidding out the land for leasing. And that will be our major hope for our self-sufficiency. But right now, we were hoping that in the transition process, before we become self-sufficient, if there is a possibility that the CCP would still be part of the other government agencies that will be entitled to salary standardization. I don't know if your office can do something with it. GCG nga po kami. Oo. Well, anyway. Thank you, Madam Senator.
COA finding of the understatement of income from Cinemalaya? It just says here, 2015 COA report on the understatement of income. Maybe it's an accounting procedure, but never mind. I'm just put it on record. Kindly look into that. It's an accounting matter. You're a GOCC.
Yes.
It was just passed on to me.
We will just
find
look
out.
into that po.
Please
Madam.
look into that.
2015 Cinemalaya income.
2015 COA report. So it must have been a 2014. Just find out, please.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
It was
Kayo na po,
adjusted na
internally,
raw po.
just handle it. It was passed on. to me.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think there's already
Okay.
an adjustment.
Thank you, Mr. Sunico.
Thank you, Madam Senator.
Okay. FDCP, Chair Dino is new. Mm-mm.
Good
We'd just
afternoon,
like-
Your Honor.
Yeah, welcome
So
to the Senate, Ms. Dino.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll just proceed to the budget. We were approved.
Continue the good work of Brickshaw Santos. He was very good, and he was very supportive of independent films. And in fact, he started the
Cinemathex.
Cinematheque, which I hope you will continue.
And actually, that's what this proposal we are asking for
How
an
many
augmentation.
Cinematheques do we have? We have one in Manila,
We have one in Manila, Iloilo, Davao, Baguio, and Zamboanga.
all operational.
All operational.
Okay.
And so our approved budget is 159.045 million. With a
So I just
23
want to know your budget, your approved budget, and is there any amount that will revert to Treasury if you don't use it till December of 2016? That's
No,
all.
it's fully obligated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's 159 million that was approved, but we submitted an augmentation of with a new thrust of FDCP to go towards the regions and empower our regional communities. There are existing film communities right now in the regions that are not being helped. So I've gone through a series of film forums, and one of the needs is to really have a venue for their films. So a cinematheque would be really good if we could identify places and venues where we can put up cinematheques.
Cinematheques, the 5 Cinematheques you mentioned, right?
Yes, but
And you want an additional?
hopefully we can, yes, around the Philippines. Because right now po, nahihirapan po ang mga indie films po to find a venue in the cinemas. So malaki pong tulong yung
Please
cinematheque.
let us know where are these located.
So, meron po kaming proposal for Nabunturan in Compostela Valley. They've already identified the line. I was there last week. The local government was very cooperative. They donated a piece of land. All we need to do is construct. And then
Our Cinematheques now are, one in Cordillera, that's in Baguio.
Baguio,
Metro Manila is Ermita.
yes.
Iloilo.
Davao,
We already have Davao.
Iloilo, and Zamboanga.
Davao, Iloilo, Zamboanga. Mhm.
It would be good. It would be ideal if we could put up more cinematheques for distribution and exhibition of our local independent films.
It would be good to have, well, Davao, but Nabunturan, so dalawa na ang Region 11. Cebu would also be...
Cebu would also be good. Pampanga, and yesterday I talked to Congressman Vilma Santos, and she's willing to help us out with a cinematheque in Batangas.
What's the requirement for a Cinematheque? Government land?
Government
You will
land,
build
at
the
least
structure,
300 to
or will the
500
local
square
government
meters.
build it?
Pwede pong existing, pero right now po yung mga binibigay sa amin sa lot, opo. Na between 300 to 500 square meters, actually, yung requirement po.
certain where you need it, in addition to the 5. It can't be just, we talk to this, she's willing to do this. We have to be certain where the need is, where is there a thriving, in the thriving local, how do you call it, audience for that?
Actually po, yung sa Compostela Valley, they have had a film festival for the last 4 years. They make it, it's an open air cinema film festival because they don't have a theater there. That's why, but this year alone, they've already brought in international short films for their film festival, and
And
it
it's too
became
far
like
for
a
them to
community-based film
Oo.
showings for the entire
ay,
community.
nice.
It became like a national, a cultural local festival that is recognized every year.
Nabunturan is 2 hours away from Davao City, no?
Yes.
Too far for them to travel to Davao
Yes.
City for that.
Actually, most po talaga ng mga communities natin, talagang yung Cinematheque po talagang hinahanap po nila pag...
Maybe it would be good to do Nabunturan.
Ma'am?
I'm sorry, I cannot probably do all that's listed here, but we can
Yes.
do Nabunturan if you say that there is an audience for that and the LGU is cooperative.
Yes, ma'am. Also, Cebu has a thriving regional film community. They just had Binisaya Film Festival. There are 5 regional film festivals that are being run every year there, but they don't have a venue.
Cultural center, eh.
Ito nga po yung hindi po nagagamit for the last 5 years. I just had a meeting po with the provincial capital. It is unused. It is right across UP Cebu. It's called the Cebu Cultural Center. Political issues po. But they're willing to allow us to renovate because it was affected by the Typhoon Yolanda. So yung roof po nila kailangan po talaga ng major repair. But it is a multi-arts building. Hopefully we can work with CCP.
Nabunturan first, and let's see, because we, like, the city has big era,
Yes.
and it is their property. I think it should be the city that should renovate a structure which they built.
I understand, ma'am.
I have
Yes,
your letter here. I'm just reading it now.
Yes.
So let me go through it. But what I can commit is the Nabunturan Cinematheque, but the others we can study.
Thank you, ma'am. It's also, we are also proposing for an initial fund for a facility for our film archives. Right now, we are...
There's no archives, film archives?
There is, we
Yes.
have, but it is within our building, and it's a makeshift room, and we really we have a lot of libraries right now who are willing to surrender their acquisitions and for us to
Walang
be custodians.
archives?
Wala pong film archives talaga kami na facility. So, mahirap po mag-acquire, wala po kaming maibigay na space.
Walang
For the-
film archives ang national government?
Totoo ba yan?
Oh,
It is under our mandate po. So,
Correct.
ngayon pa lang po talaga namin siya ina-activate. And for the
There
last...
is no building, room, office for all the films?
Sa amin po, meron pong may 2 po kaming film vaults, pero maliit lang po siya sa dami po ng ating mga pelikula ngayon na especially kulang po ang space namin.
So how much is needed to create that film archive?
Saan na ba yan? 30 million po yung proposed naming initial fund. Kasi yung
Can't imagine that all this time we didn't have a decent
Yes.
film archive.
there was actually a
Oh.
proposal. Yes, wala po. Wala po. And ayan po, last week po, we just had a meeting with CCP, and yung meron po silang place for their archives, pero hindi rin po perfect yung condition. So, kailangan po talaga natin mag-identify ng isang magandang facility para po ma-ensure natin na meron po. Nire-rent po namin. Well, we will identify. Actually, the former administration has identified a location in Tagaytay for the. Action. Kailangan. Is
And where it is, that we're still scouting for the land.
if we're able to propose, kasi po right now may meeting po ako with
This is already for
thesis
next year's
conversion.
budget, and the amendment, not the amendments, yeah, the augmentations will be by next week, October 15 at the latest. That should have been prepared in the NEP. Otherwise, this will be 2018. Just the same thing I told the NHCP. Hindi pwedeng baka.
Yung proposal po kasi ng old administration, nasa Tagaytay po. Pero
Have they purchased the land?
280 million po yung kanilang proposal.
Is it in the NEP? Have they purchased the land? Is it in the capital outlay in the 2017 NEP?
By the San Miguel, but it did not push through
Ah.
before.
Yes. So I advise you to look for a permanent place, and we will support you for the 2018 budget, meaning it's already it's end of the year. Look for the place that's suitable, discuss it to the experts, what's suitable for your archive, then put it in your NEP of 2018. Then we will support it, we will not slash it. But for us now to say, baka dito, baka dyan, hindi natuloy, maybe this amount would do, that could be good money that can just be thrown away. Then you'll tell me next year kasi wala pa yung lupa. Please do a judicious study of the area available.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it should be either donated or government land. Sa dami-dami ng government buildings. So that wag nang purchase of land because ang daming government land. Wag na rin, sana rehab na lang ng existing government building or structure.
Yes.
Para mas maliit. Yeah. 280 million is too much. Now, these are already restored films.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's also included in our augmented budget for us to allow us to restore at least 5 films a year. So meron po kaming proposal.
Okay. So, the restoration and digitization of the films for 207 was not included in
No.
the NEP. How much would that be?
10 million po yung
So
hindi
the
namin.
digitization, so you can restore 5 films next year is done, and then we can have 1 Cinematheque in Abunturan as a start.
Okay.
Study the others, then
Yes,
please look for the land where you will have your archives, film archives.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Then I will read through this. Again, pagluluwag, at kasi amendments yan, we'll see, all agencies asking for augmentation. By November, we'll see, at least nandito ito, pa-receive nyo officially dyan, ha, para meron kayo, alam natin saan kukuha. Yes, Jeremy.
Madam Senator, while Chair Dino is still here, and it's a pleasure to see her for the first time, I was just chatting with Chair De Leon and with Brickshaw over the years. We were hoping to make some progress on the idea of including the FDCP within the NCCA family. Yes, they're not, and if Chair Dino likes that idea, that would take.
Under the office of the president po, pero executive po. Hindi po kami nakasama we're not even sitting in the cinema committee.
Yes, exactly.
That's an internal matter. How do you do that? Is
We
it
would
an
need to
EO?
amend the NCCA law
Amendment of the
Yeah,
law.
that's right.
Ay, that's going to take so long.
Because they will be represented on the board, and by virtue of that, be
Ah.
one of the affiliated agencies.
Okay, maybe you can help us draft it.
Yeah.
I'll author it, but it would take quite a while.
Just that would be a simple
Yes.
two provision
Sa
bill.
bagay.
Yeah.
O tulungan niyo ko. You also have your amendments to the National Museum law.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
So that's just something, because we've always appreciated hearing their plans and projects over the years. But
Okay.
yeah.
Sige.
Your
I'm
Honor.
willing to author it. Could you kindly give that to our office?
Okay.
Yeah.
Your Honor, one more thing, yung mobile cinema truck po. Ito naman po, ito po yung project ng FDCP so that we can hold community-based film showings. So these cinema trucks go to the far-flung barangays to hold community-based film showings, and it's a great opportunity for them to be able to see films that they would normally see on a normal cinema. So kung wala pong mga cinematheques, maganda po na meron tayong mga mobile cinema trucks para po makarating po ang mga pelikula, especially yung mga independent films na hindi na ipapalabas.
Written here. Let me just
Yes, ma'am.
see if there's it's 6 million. Are we certain about this? One truck is 1 million?
Actually po, meron na po kaming dalawang trucks.
It goes around.
Yes, it's in it's in Iloilo and Mindanao.
Where in Mindanao?
In Davao po.
Gano'ng kadalas umikot yung mga yun? Bakit
Every
hindi ko nababalitaan?
yun, we're activating it and making sure that we have
Umaandar yung mga truck.
year-round
There are personnel
locations.
who do it. You
Yes.
promote it. There are people who watch.
Right now po, dinagdagan po namin ang aming personnel sa bawat cinematheque so that para na rin po siyang FDCP office doon dahil marami pong mga communities na gusto pong magkaroon ng mga access sa mga films.
First na Bunturan, and then your restoration of 5 films, and then we will look into the mobile trucks. For which areas are these?
Right now po, we're looking at Cordillera also, where our cinematheques are. In Baguio, in one in Zamboanga, and then pinadala ba natin sa Iloilo? Yes.
You will have the mobile trucks where the cinematheques already are.
So kasi po ang yung the whole region po yung iba po 2 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours away pa rin po sila sa mga sa cinematheque. So ito po pwede pong ma-mobilize para po yun po ang pupunta sa mga communities.
Okay, okay. So in the 5 areas where the cinematheques are the 5 mobile trucks where you will have.
Actually, pag may nagre-request po, pinapadala din po namin siya dun sa mga areas kahit wala pong cinematheque.
Okay.
We just ngayon lang po, kaya po nandun yung mga trucks kasi po, mas meron pong nag-aasikaso yung personnel po namin. Sila po yung nag-identify ng mga places and mas madali po yung facilitation ng coordination.
I think this can be considered. So one cinematheque and then the mobile trucks, mobile cinema trucks, and your restoration of 5 films next
Thank
year.
you, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Sige.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Chair
Thank you, Your
Dina.
Honor.
Okay, Chair Jun. National Museum, Jeremy. Hindi na kayo. Okay na kayo. Jeremy.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. While we're waiting for the slide of the proposed budget compared with the current and last year's budget, again, it's the same as the other agencies. There is a drop because of the non-recurring capital outlay projects having been completed or in progress.
The most supported agency.
Yes,
In the culture group.
Especially in terms of
Yeah,
infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
So we're quite happy with the overall state of the budget, especially because we have a lot of catching up to do. As of June 30, we still have to obligate continuing appropriations of more than $1 billion pesos.
1 billion till December of this year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Raul. And
Yes, ma'am. Most of those are Bohol reconstruction projects.
will you be able to finish it?
Yes, we're on track with those. Yeah. And so
What
we
happened to the Rizal what was intended for the Rizal textiles, but instead you realigned it for textile galleries in the regional museums. Were you able to realign it or hindi pumayag ang DBM?
Yeah, in the end, we didn't have to realign it kasi nasa...
Textile rin naman eh.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah,
exactly.
good, good.
So that's
You're
ongoing.
able to
ma'am.
use it.
Yes.
And the establishment of textile galleries in the regional museums are ongoing?
Yes, that's
We
being
will have
planned.
in Vigan,
In Vigan, in
Kiangan,
in
Iloilo.
Iloilo, yes.
Butuan.
Butuan.
Very
See,
good.
you remember perfectly.
Of course, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You're my second home. Okay, very good.
Thank
When are
you.
you going to finish all of that?
I don't have the exact timelines, but Iloilo is finished.
Is it possible to finish all of that by February Arts Month? Simultaneous opening of textile galleries in all national museums? Kaya ba yun?
I'll get back to you. If not, if we can't commit to February, we can certainly commit to Heritage Month in May.
Oh, yun.
Yeah.
Maybe at least one for Arts Month and then everything finished by Heritage.
Okay. Sige po, ma'am.
Yes. Chair Jun.
Both of you are here. We're planning to feature the best textile samples in Hibla for our Christmas calendar. For our 2017 calendar. Or the best examples of
Finotograph
exhibit.
na ho nyo.
Exhibit in the National Museum of Hibla.
Has it been photographed?
No, we are going to
They have
photograph.
the photographs already. They have a soft copy of everything.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So we're
Good.
just working on that, but we're very
Oo.
happy they've chosen.
Good, good. Oo, pahingi naman maraming pamigay. Oo, sige. Desk calendar lang. Mm-mm.
We will have some kind of running commentary on each,
Okay.
so that the
Good,
people will also learn about Hibla.
Mm-mm.
So it will be a promotion of Hibla.
Plus, through the NCCA's efforts, Chair Jun just came back from the Middle East. We will be mounting a large part of our Bangsamoro exhibit in Doha, so that if you remember our large Bangsamoro exhibit adjacent to the textile gallery. No, a traveling version will be temporarily sent to Doha.
Talking about traveling funds. We have traveling funds for textiles in NCCA, which was supposed to be managed by National Museum, but for some reason, National Museum didn't have the absorptive capacity, I think, so it is still with NCCA. How much is that? 6 million. So it's there. Baka masayang yung pondo. Can NCCA use it? Ha? Oo. Can you work together?
Yes, we're...
Hindi naman mag-expire ngayong December yun, no? Hanggang next year. So just
Yeah.
to let you know, no? Even beyond Chair June's time, sayang.
We're making progress with our COA auditor.
6.3. The funds is lodged with NCCA. Oo. So, maybe because Hibla is with NM, it's best that NCCA works with NM regarding this because they have the textiles, they have the expertise sa curatorial because of the Hibla Gallery. And you work together naman and you're part of the NCCA naman eh. We just put the funds there. I don't know why we put it there. But it's for traveling ito, no? Traveling in the Philippines, traveling abroad. Abroad. There's a working proposal already. I see it was supposed to be in London for June 12. Hindi lang, wala lang panahon kasi kampanya at gano'n, no? Maybe we can do it for Heritage Month next year in May because we have the Venice Biennale in May, and then we can have a week later in London the Roving Textile Hibla. Yes.
The Minister of Culture of Qatar is already expecting the Bangsamoro exhibit. This will be the first time it will be exhibited outside of the country in an Islamic country. They're expecting as early as February.
So we're very excited about that. We've never done anything like that with our Islamic arts. Yeah.
And then disseminate the information through the DFA in other posts in the Middle East so that our Filipinos overseas, especially in the Middle East, can, if they have the time and the financial capacity to go.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Sige.
Well, with
But just to, so yung 6 million yan, you work together kung paano, ida-download ba niya sa kanila o sa inyo pa rin?
yeah,
Just work
the
on that.
problem is on our side with liquidations of past,
I know.
and we've made progress with our co-auditor.
So it will stay with NCCA, tulungan na lang nyo sila.
Yes, of course.
Pero yung textiles galing sa inyo, paano ba yon? You work it out.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Oh.
Too, yeah.
And it will, London pa rin ito. What if we just use it, naka-indicate kasi London ba no? Hindi pwedeng pang local? Roving local? Traveling abroad.
Yeah. Hindi nakastipulate ang London mismo. I think there's also a bit of a issue because of the sudden recall of Ambassador Evan,
Evan was,
our ambassador in the UK, and the naming by the president of a new
yeah.
ambassador.
So let's, it can still be used till December of next year. Kung pwede sa London after, in the same month as Venice, so that would be, or in June for the June 12, kung pwede. Okay. Just know that you have the funds. Sayang eh.
For
Okay.
for the
Museum.
information of your information, ma'am, our major projects for next year are mostly in the regions. We will be establishing a site museum at the Tabon Cave site, as well as a new regional museum in Dumaguete for the Negros Island region.
Ito Negros Island, no?
Yep.
I just learned that hindi na matutuloy ang Negros Island as another region. I'm not sure if it's official. That's what I learned from the president. So, of
I
course,
read an article to that effect, but I wouldn't know. Yeah.
No, I was present when the president spoke to the governor of Negros Occidental because it had budgetary implications, according to Secretary Jokno, which wouldn't have for a new region. I'm not certain kung ganun pa rin. So, if you will have a regional museum, it may be technically wrong. There's nothing wrong with setting up museum in Dumaguete. Those two provinces anyway exist, Oriental and Occidental. But to call it a regional museum in the line item in the budget with such a big allocation, baka ma-technical tayo dyan because there is no Negros Island region in case Malacanang decides not to honor what the past administration did on the establishment of the new region. Can you check with DBM and Malacanang?
Would
Ano, paano yun?
would you be more comfortable if we amended the title?
Anong lalagay nila? Region.
Yes, establishment of museum
Para
in.
safe, oo, kasi, oo. Mahal? 50 million?
Well, that's our standard for.
Ganon?
Yes, ma'am. Hindi ganun kamahal. This will be the old city hall. Mayor Remolio of Dumaguete is constructing a new city hall complex, and this was his initiative. He came to us with this idea, and he will donate or give us usufruct over the existing old city hall, and that will be converted into the regional museum. Yeah, it's a 1930s structure.
Yung nomenclature lang para siguradong hindi tayo matek.
Sige po, ma'am. Establishment of Dumaguete, well, yeah,
Museum.
of a national museum in Dumaguete.
In Dumaguete.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are our main projects. The rest
What
of the
is exhibition of fit out? Oh, what is this? And
Oh,
facilities?
all right. We've over the last 2-3 years, we have upgraded or established new museums in 9 locations. So we just need some specialty equipment for the exhibition halls and also office equipment to fit out the offices and the staff quarters in each of those, plus some other individual items of equipment like gen sets and things like that. Yeah. And the rest of the capital outlay and the that's in Quezon, Palawan, southern Palawan.
Is it accessible?
Yes.
From Puerto, how far?
All right, it's about a 4-hour drive south. You go south to Nara and then cross Palawan to to the western side.
You say site museum, it's the Tabod Cave.
Yes, we have about 200 hectares there, encompassing all the caves.
What is it? You restore the cave, or what is it?
Since the time of Marcos, we've been administering this whole area that's riddled with caves. That's where the oldest human remains are, the Tabon
I've
Man. And
read about it,
yeah.
never been there.
It's a
but
wonderful place.
It's a National Museum site.
Yes, it's a
And
museum reservation.
Do you have a structure there? No.
Currently, no, it's mostly just a environmental place.
So what is the 100 million for?
So we on the flat portion by the beach in that area, we will be constructing an actual museum facility, so that people can learn more about the importance of the site. Rather
And the access is 4 hours from Puerto. That's the
Yes.
nearest. How
Uh,
about from Coron? How far is it?
oh, very very far.
Is this a local government request, or it's a decision of the National Museum?
It is the most important archaeological site that we
And
manage.
we have not established a museum.
Not on site. We have a small museum in the poblacion of the town, which is some distance away.
Which town is this? Quezon?
Quezon. Yeah. And we have numerous resolutions, not from Quezon only, but from the province, and also from Congressman Abueg, the congressman there, because this is seen as the major tourist destination for southern Palawan, which in terms of development has been lagging far behind northern Palawan.
So there will be a structure by the
Yes.
beach.
Yes, and we have the design and the layout of it. It's going to be Palawan contemporary, that kind of quite sensitive to the environment there, and
Okay.
yeah, actually will look like a resort. And so we're quite excited about that. That's a long delayed project. Delayed why? Because until recently there was no road access to our reservation. You had to take a banca from the town.
But now there's a 4-hour ride from
well,
Puerto.
Well, there's no problem of getting to the town, but from the
Yeah.
town to the reservation.
Now there's a road
Now
access.
there's road access that the LGU and the provincial DPW.
There's no malaria in Tabon?
No.
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 Okay. Yeah.
I think just on off the record, we'd definitely have to facilitate a visit for you there. You'll love the place.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been to that part of Palawan. Sige.
Chair De Leon has been there. It's one
Really?
of the most
You took
significant
the 4-hour trip.
drive, di ba?
6 hours. Balikan to Puerto. O you stayed overnight. Good. I'm sure, fascinating. Yeah.
And then, thank you. And then, what isn't here but is being considered in the House is an additional amount of 50 million pesos for the continuation of land acquisition in Butuan for the Balangay sites. This was a request of Congressman Fortun there. And we had actually submitted that proposal to the DBM, but it did not emerge in the NEP. And we've copied you, Madam Senator, on that request to the House APRO Committee, and we're hoping the Senate Finance Committee might consider the same.
There are many priorities.
Yes.
I'm afraid additional land acquisition might not be funded.
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Thank you for giving it to me. I'm not saying it's not a priority, but maraming needs.
Yes, of course. Thank you. And unless you have any specific questions, that's the brief overview. It's going to be a less intensive year than in the last 6 years for us, and we're going to play a quiet catch-up on our unobligated.
What have you done to implement the law on that covers anti-forgery?
Yes.
It's a national museum that is the implementing agency of the law against forgers.
Yes. Yes, part of the proposed budget for next year will be allocated to purchasing the necessary equipment to give us the capability of implementing the law, according to scientific lines.
Done with the fake Ben Cabs, the fake Legazpis? Is it NHRs proliferating in the homes of collectors, even exhibited in malls? lantaran.
Yes.
What are we doing about it?
Well, the only one case has actually been brought to the museum, and that was a case of some HR campos. But unfortunately, the lead authenticator of HR's work is his daughter, and she attested that, in her opinion, they were not fakes. So
What do we do?
yes, what can one do? Yeah.
It's not just HR.
Yes, of
Ben
course.
Caps
Ben
are
has
being
been
fake,
complaining to all of us, but he himself is around to authenticate his own work. Yeah. And so we encourage the people who have been victims of such things to, of course, file the necessary charges against who they bought them from. But yes, we haven't taken the lead in any of those issues. But you'll be happy to know that one of the reasons for our delayed implementation of other parts of that law is our lack of personnel. And since June 2016, our reorganization has been approved, and we're able to add more items specifically dedicated to those regulatory responsibilities.
I've actually seen fake national artists' art in some homes of people I just met or acquaintances or in some events.
Yeah.
They may not know what they bought or what they have is fake, but it looks fake.
Yes, yes.
HR, I can tell.
And especially with the older works,
Even I think,
19th century works are very easy as well to pass off.
yeah.
People, this is off the record, I hope, but all right. Well, people have alleged that you find a painting similar to the style of Juan Luna, you cut off the signature of that generic European artist, and then you put the Luna name, and it's very hard to spot the difference. If you find someone of the right period and style, of which Luna was quite emblematic of a certain style, so late romantic academic style. So these are rumors, allegations swirling around all over the place. And of course, the prices go up and up and up. Yeah. Certainly, we remind people that they should be very careful. That there's hardly any such.
Know who they are who are faking it. There's information. I have names of people. Ben Cab knows. He told me a few years ago, and I think I related to you. They even know it's within the art community. They even have an idea where they're housed. I think you should.
That kind of detail hasn't reached me.
They even named
Oh,
a couple of artists who are the ones faking it. Can you kindly look into that? I can whisper it to you after
Oh,
this.
please
meeting.
do.
Yeah.
I only hear about a group of people in Cebu, but no names.
No. Again, it has to be validated.
Yes, sure. Here?
One is stays in a condominium in Metro Manila, in the fort. One is, I'll give you the information. Again, these are all raw information, but given to me by artists themselves. Yeah. Within the art community. Again, I'm not certain if it's accurate. I'm just asking you to please look into it because you are the agency vested with the authority with an anti-forgery unit. Also talked to Rudolph Kratoquil, who's a foreigner, but he's a gallerist. He came up front, face to face, with the seller of forged art in a condo in Rockwell. He went there and he said, what you're holding and selling is fake art. Ask Rudolph. He told me that. Yeah. Si Rudolph, sa Ermita, ano pangalan niya? 1335 Mabini. He's a gallerist. He was going to buy art and he wanted to know, nakatira sa Rockwell. And then he told me. I'm putting it on record so that we look into that. So ask Ben Cab. He knows who's faking his art. He called me 2-3 years ago about it. I think I mentioned to you, I'm not certain. Ask Rudolph also, saan yung address ng tao? Selling fake, I'm not sure which artist, kung HR or Legazpi. Kinontak siya because he's a gallerist. Again, it's fake. And he told the person straight in his face that it's fake. Manansalas also being faked. Okay. Thank you. I didn't want to end on a negative note, but because you're vested with the authority to implement the law against forgers. Oh yeah, I think 2 years ago, the University of Hawaii came to my office, requested for photographs of the Hibla collection for their museum, just photographs. Anna knows about this. Can you please, even if we fund it small in the 2017 budget, just for soft copies, and they can reproduce it there, no? Studying soft copy lang. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a soft copy of your Hibla, and just have the arrangement in terms of the ownership.
No problem, ma'am.
Can you, Shri?
We won't need any additional funds for that. That's very
Oh, yeah.
simple.
Shri, can you give all the communications of the University of Hawaii? They came to my office 2 years ago.
All right. I'll
And can
I'll
you
check
please
that out.
continue coordinating with the Berlin Ethnological Museum, who are just in the process of transferring it? I've gone so far in coordinating,
Yep.
but it's the difficulty in customs and different laws. And if I'm not certain if it's inefficiency in the National Museum, if it's some of your people who did not do the work as instructed by Anna, for some reason, the Germans pulled out despite their written and verbal commitment that it will be lent. So I think they got frustrated with the slowness of the Philippine bureaucracy, because there were challenges insofar as customs is concerned.
Yes. As to getting the national, what they were calling an indemnity, that
Yeah.
national guarantee that
Yun.
those works would
Wala
not
tayo
be.
nun. We don't do
yeah.
that. That's why. It's not
Yeah.
to blame you or your staff or Anna. It's just to put on the record that I worked on it since 2012.
Yes.
Sayang naman.
Yes, absolutely.
But then they put a hold on it and said they can lend it in 2018 or 19
Mhm.
when their transfer would have been completed. That's the Rizal collection.
Yes.
Or at least maybe you can send a documentarist to photograph the Rizal collection, so we already have a soft copy before they lend it to us in 2019. So then Hawaii and then the Berlin Rizal. Okay. Thank you, Jeremy. Anyway, I'm always there with you. Oh, sige. Okay, Chair June. I just want to know why you can listen. Patapos na rin. If you want to be part of NCCA, I think it would be educational for you to join your family.
In fact, we like,
right?
in fact, in the future, we like FDCP to be part of the NCCA.
Yeah, you're welcome to listen, Chair. So
But
I just want to know, in your submission, why is it their annual programs are not there, or was it cut by DBM?
it was cut by DBM,
The
but
Biennale?
we submitted.
You submitted it.
We submitted. No, it was cut by DBM originally, but we submitted.
So we will restore it if it was cut.
We submitted a
Or did we put it in DFA?
we no, to restore it. We submitted proposed the house.
Ano? I just want to know whether the
Biennale is
Biennale,
DFA.
the Biennale, huh? It's no longer DFA. In 2017, it has to be straight. Why should it be DFA downloaded to you? It should be directly to you.
Directly to us.
So, it's supposed to be 70 for the Biennale. Is that accurate? Oo. It's not part of the NCCA budget. Was it cut? I want to know lang. Was it submitted or not submitted? If you're not, if the information is not ready, then I will just make it my amendment to add. You did not submit it.
Well,
Akala nyo.
it's not part of the ones that we submitted to the house.
So DFA did not submit it. Maybe hindi nyo submit kasi it's usually DFA funds. Yun di ba pinagalitan ko yung DFA cultural diplomacy because during our, I asked her,
I
did they
remember.
submit it? They said they did not submit.
We didn't submit.
Yun na nga eh. What I'm trying to do is, like the Cinemalaya of Cultural Center, let's not wait for me to always augment it. It should be part of the budget as usual. So that what after 3 years, if nobody asks the agency and you're no longer there as well, dapat alam na ng ahensya, parte na ng kanilang ano. So, DFA did not submit it. It's not the fault of the NCCA for not submitting it because traditionally it's always been lodged in the Cultural Diplomacy Unit. But I'll make it my amendment to include the Biennale budget in 2017. To NCCA. Pwede yun, no? Dali. Pwede. First time magiging diretso NCCA, dati DFA. Okay, makailangan dumagdag sa DFA. Okay.
To DFA or directly to NCCA?
Directly.
That's much
NCCA.
better.
Yes.
Anyway, our GAA for 2016 was 178 million, but was reduced. For NEP, it became 208 million, simply because these are without the amendments. We had many amendments in 2016. That's also true for the NEFCA fund, which was 677,828 and became 423 because this is now the 2017 is now without the Met budget, without the Metropolitan Theater budget. So the decrease is, you can see 83% for the GAA and 38% for the NEFCA. But we submitted the proposed restoration of the budget to the House. This is in the next page. We submitted a proposed amount to be restored, which is not really as big as the decrease, which is 400. The decrease was 157 for the GAA. So for the GAA to be restored is 131,353. This will include Dayo TV series, Puerto Real, Philippine International Dance Festival documentation of vanishing IP traditions, Escuela Atelier, Scholarship for the Arts, Central Rizal, funding for schools for living traditions, and cultural heritage mapping projects for the Filipino Heritage Festival. We hope this will be regular programs of the NCCA, and we hope the DBM will understand that this can be regularly funded. That's why we are moving for the restoration of at least 131 million as proposed amount. And of course, because I'm also going to talk about this budget for 31 permanent positions, which amounts to 23,352,368. We really need permanent positions because the NCCA has become a training ground.
Could you kindly give us, do I have the list of the breakdown of the 131 that you want to be
The
restored?
breakdown of the 131.
Nasaan yun? Yung binasa ni
Nandiyan yung
Chair.
breakdown
Can I
of
have it here?
131.
Yan.
Breakdown of 131 is there. That's it. Okay. Yeah, breakdown of 131, research, documentation, publication, promotion, exhibition, and film production to preserve and promote the tangible and intangible Filipino heritage, including, yes, I was mentioning Dayo, Puerto Real, Philippine International Dance Festival, and all of this.
Let's put it on the main page. Pakilakasan, lakihan ang font.
I see,
Okay,
of course.
yan.
Okay,
So Dayaw,
nga.
Puerto Real, that's our Likhaan Dance Festival, and
Philippine Dance Festival, documentation of vanishing IP traditions, Escuela Atelier, Scholarship for the Arts, Centro Rizal, funding for the schools for living traditions. I skipped initially the budget for 31 permanent positions, but of course, the last two are cultural and heritage mapping projects, first Filipino Heritage Festival. I wanted to talk in more detail on the need for 31 permanent positions because out of 135 employees, we only have 33 permanent positions.
I just wanted to put on record. Can I create the 31 positions or this has to be DBM to approve it? DBM eh. Sabi ni Drino, DBM. Agree. DBM has to approve that eh. It's not for us to create positions, DBM has to approve
Has approved.
the positions.
I see.
Yan tatanggalin. Ila-line veto yan.
So we can remove that. No? It's not,
Okay. It's not
but we
permi-
submitted it to the House. No? We submitted to the House.
Isa-isa. Okay, Dayaw, Puerto Real, Likhaan. Yung dance festival, ano po yun? What is a
This
dance
is
festival?
a project of the dance committee.
Is that on every year?
There used to be a Sayaw Pinoy. This is another way of implementing the Sayaw Pinoy, which features all kinds of Filipino dances from all over the country.
Saan ginaganap ito?
We bring groups from Manila and other urban areas to the provinces. At the same time, we ask the provincial and regional groups to perform together with the ones coming from Manila and other cities.
Itong documentation of IP traditions, video, documentation, photos and video.
This is all kinds of documentation. Ano yan? Process documentation. For example, the Lakub. The Lakub was almost,
Oo.
was
So when you
vanishing
say
tradition.
documentation, picture,
We
photo,
document
video,
Video, because we document the
this is
whole,
an ongoing thing.
the entire process.
Hindi na dapat to palaging amendment. This should be every year. Meron kayong
Yun na
documentation.
nga. But
Oo.
it was removed kasi by the
And
ano
then
eh.
itong Eskwela Talier, yung annual grant natin sa kanila ng
Sa kanila.
scholarships, di ba? Itong scholarship for the arts, iba pa ito.
Iba pa yan. But we already have identified 4 scholars right now, including
But
Chino
why should it
Gutierrez
be an amendment? Why not from NEFCA?
for NEFCA.
Hindi pwede ang NEFCA ang scholarship for the arts? Pwede rin.
Pwede rin
Tanggalin natin dito, sa NEFCA na lang yun.
sa NEFCA.
Centro Rizal, sa atin ang gagaling yung sentro, not DFA? NCCA. And Centro Rizal, what is this?
Centro
MOE?
Rizal?
MOE or capital outlay?
MOE.
It's been established, right?
Just been
And is
established.
this for the additional Centro Rizal or for Centro Rizal operations?
Both.
I hope the Centro Rizal are not just rooms in embassies or consulates, but there's something ongoing in Centro Rizal.
We have programs. We have already identified some programs that will be continuing. We have piloted this in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh. We are also doing it in Jakarta. Hopefully, this will be replicated. Actually, we are asking every Centro Rizal in the different places. We have already established 20. The last one was in Cairo. We are asking the cultural attaché there or the ambassador to submit to us a program for the entire year. That is one requirement because that's part of our heritage law. It can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be. An enterprising Filipino association can even establish their own Centro Rizal as long as they fulfill the requirements. But as of now, it's more convenient to have it within the embassy premises. Well, it begins with a room, with a reading room and library, but of course they will have to have a program, for the entire year. And every country sees a different kind of program for itself because there are places where there are more Filipinos, there are places where there are less, and there are different needs. For example, in the Middle Eastern countries, you cannot just present Filipino dances, so it has to be a different kind of art.
Ito pong funding for the School of Living Traditions, this is actual funding assistance for the SLTs to revive our SLTs. Is that it? It's 20 million.
It's to revive our traditions because
Weaving communities and others.
many masters are already quite old, and
So
when they
this is
pass
actually
away,
financial assistance to them.
we give them financial assistance at least for 3 years, and hoping
Yung
that they will
budget lang
teach.
for 2031, just have check please if I'm allowed to do this because I think it has to emanate from DBM. DBM has to allow the creation of new positions.
Well, we are hoping that if just in case Mr. Jeremy Burns here was mentioning about the need to amend the NCCA law.
Let me just help clarify for Senator about the 31 positions.
Okay.
Okay, then we
We-
continue with cultural mapping.
Yes,
COA, they were not completed. The others were, there were no clear established projects for the sustainable management of this. There's a delay in the implementation and utilization of the funds according to COA.
The SWD accreditation, we have a problem with the accreditation coming from
Ayun.
the SWD. And in fact, the accreditation for NAMSIA, which has been going on since 1977, just came in today. No, it came today. It came in today, just today. We also, wala pa rin yung sa Manila Art. Release the SWD
Sige po,
accreditation.
Yung maliit naman, pero yung positions lang hindi ko magagawa unless allowed by DBM. Let's clarify
Okay.
that. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And the Biennale has to be here for 70 because we'll be in the Arsenale. And the others, I just need more, Sherry will give this, more detailed project updates of so much that I've funded through NCCA, the curatorial intensive, tri-weaving, SLT, baybayin lectures, likhaan, gamaba book, SLT book. It's actually here. I have one-liner updates, but maybe more detailed since the implementing agency is the NCCA. And these are not recurring naman eh, because we can have one, then we'll see what, anong kaya nyo absorptive capacity, yun lang ituloy natin next year. So, so I need from the NCCA the actual status of all these projects we've funded. And ibigay na lang yung ayoko mga fashion show na yan. Sila nang bahala dyan. And then this augmentation of 131 is fine. I just want to make sure that the positions, pwede ako, I have the authority to do that. And then please add the Biennale there. What is this Philippine Heritage Festival?
That happens every year, ma'am, in May. It's led by, it's an NGO. That's the beneficiary
NGO
of
has to be
NCCA.
accredited by the SWD.
That-
I don't think it's an accredited NGO. Makukuha kayo dyan.
But that leads us, ma'am, to
Yes.
the point that Chair was about to raise.
That's
The-
talagang, I wish I could do something, but it's not, it's beyond me.
No.
Because everything, even the DSWD is complaining that they cannot process all of this. But what do I do? It's been in the GAA since 2012. I inherited that. I cannot take it out.
Yes, but ma'am, we were wanting to explore whether you could insert a special provision under the NCCA budget that empowers them to accredit their beneficiary organizations. Special provision lang po. Kasi yes, the impact has been huge. Just yesterday at the board meeting of NCCA, we had to realign so many projects because it wasn't going to happen due to the lack of DSWD accreditation.
There will be anomalies. I'll be blamed because I took it out of the SWD. But the SWD, ganito, we will ask the SWD to write us because they complained in their hearing that they're not capable of processing the art and culture agencies. And then NCCA to write us asking for this special provision which you craft with your legal and your COA. Then we will put that as the basis for that special provision. Everything in the government, DA, etc., that's still the SWD, except art and culture, NCCA will be empowered. But I need the SWD to complain to me because they said it on record, and you to help us craft it.
We will do that.
I will also take out the Filipino Heritage Festival because if it's not the SWD approved. Approved yun. O, sige.
It's been
They are.
implemented.
That's a long-standing.
It's been implemented.
Do they do anything?
Vita Rufino is the one on top of that.
That's the group of, yeah.
What are
for
their
the Philippine Heritage Festival Incorporated. And they usually do exhibits. They did exhibit in Rustans
Okay.
of textiles.
Yeah,
That's very recent.
okay. So may output naman ito.
Meron silang
Okay,
output.
I leave it to you.
Small scale, but they do it constantly. They have
Okay.
been there for how many years? Several
Okay,
years now.
Sige. So, ito lang po, the positions, we will see if DBM will allow it. Could you find out from DBM? If I have the power, yes. And if you need it, I will believe you, you need it.
If Chair doesn't mind me, I've already asked the
Yes.
DBM and if and when they approve these positions or any other positions, it will come naman from their miscellaneous personal benefits fund, which is already in the budget. It will come from the DBM's own budget for that funds the creation of new items. So there will be a budget for that, but yes, it's a lump sum lodged within the DBM for that. So kung hindi nakasama sa NCCA budget, that's not a barrier.
One reason why, yeah, just to give you a background, because we might be able to put this in the letter. One reason why the DBM doesn't like to give us permanent positions is that until now there's a lingering notion in the DBM that we are only a funding agency of the NFCA, but that's not true, especially with the passage of the Heritage Act of 2009. We are an implementing agency, especially when...
Law that created the NCCA initially was that you are a coordinating, like a council, no, of different agencies under you, and to manage and administer the funds, the endowment fund.
But there's also a small provision that says that we can also implement, I think Section 8, with the appearance of the Heritage Act, we really can implement now, especially because projects that are very national in scope cannot be implemented by committees. Like, for example, I just mentioned cultural statistics, the SLTs, all of these there has to be a cultural
June,
manager.
you don't have to convince me.
Yeah,
you are preaching to the choir.
Well, there are many,
Yes, of course,
many projects that are national in scope that
Opo.
can only be handled by NCCA
Yes.
rather than just committees or
Sure. Basta
volunteers.
kung approbin niya ng DBM, we will put that, whether MPBF or additional, we will follow. So, ang hingin ko lang po, yung, alam nila Shari, yung lahat ng 2015 at 16 na pinondohan, lalo na yung 2015 na mag-expire ng Desyembre, gastusin nyo, and the status of all these projects, nakita ko dyan, may 2 o 3, pending accreditation na naman sa DSWD. So, ma-expire yung pondo dahil pending accreditation, sayang. And then, we will ask the DSWD for their letter, and you will give me a letter asking that and draft the special provision that you want us to do. That will be a relief for the arts and culture agencies, not agencies, NGOs. Tapos yung Biennale po sa inyo na every year, ha? Ilagay na nyo sa NEP, kayo na. And it should be institutionalized long after us. Idagdag, 2017. Kasi nga hindi na naging ng DFA.
The budget will increase from 131 to...
Depende. Kung yung if the 23 will not be part of this, and deep BDM will get it from another source, so it will be minus, it will be around 190. No, plus 70, 200 minus 20, 180. 180. Okay. Thank you. Sige. Wait, I forgot to suspend session. So the budget of the cultural agencies that we just heard are approved and will be heard in plenary, and we suspend today's hearing. Thank you. Okay.
ba mag-work to? Kilala ko si Roman. At walang mas importante sa kanya kundi ang reputasyon niya. Oras na makita to ng mga taga San Diego, masisira ang pamilya nila. Kaya subukan nilang saktan ako o kahit kayong mga malapit sa akin. Lalabas ang video niya. Paano niyo naman na nandito ako?
Ilang araw na po kayong pinapahanap ni Sir, Ma'am. Sumama na kayo sa amin.
Huwag mo akong hahawakan ulit, ha? Hindi niyo ako kailangan puwersahin. Kung gusto ko makita ni Roman, sige, bibigay ko sa kanya.
Ma'am, kung may plano kayong tumakas, sinasabi ko sa inyo. Marami kami ngayon dito.
Tapos na ako sa pagtakas. Kung gusto kong makita ni Roman, sabihin mo, maghanda siya sa pagdating ko.
Magpapasumba tayo sa gabi. Akala ko magsisimba. Mukha na kami magsisimba. Sumbang gabi.
Wanted Zumba Instructor.
Per zone lang po ang rate ko. Wala bang discount?
Si Elsa na ba yan?
Kayang magturo eh.
Dito, Manal.
Sabihin sa inyong dalawa and sa kanila lahat, that's how you do it.
Na makakaduet ng remaining select contestants sa Pakailanman. Oh,
Malaking halaga sa biyag na to. Mas malaki pa sa bayan niyang sa mundo ng mga... Nanaisin, mahal. Sa mundo ng mga... Nanaisin, mahal.